of Muncie.
For the best stories, access, and coverage of Ball State sports, follow SportsLink on social media platforms Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Search @BSU SportsLink.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Your home for live Ball State sports, streaming right in your timeline.
This is SportsLink Digital.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, Papergo toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
SportsLink is the official production partner of Ball State Athletics.
All the chirp you can handle.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pridemark Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pridemark Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
Hey, this is Kaden Samanza, redshirt freshman quarterback for Ball State football. You're listening to SportsLink Digital Radio presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Thanks for sticking with us here on SL Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. I'm your pregame host, Isaiah Rosner, and I'm joined by Griffin Leonard. He'll be the analyst for this matchup. Let's go ahead and get to some players to watch, Griffin. So much talent on both of these teams, but I think starting with Ball State, we've got a pretty obvious choice for this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of players to look at. Something I want to point out, if you're not in Muncie, Indiana, or maybe you just haven't stepped outside today, it's raining somewhat hard here in Muncie. That's, of course, going to affect how this game is played. Tanner Koziel, of course, is somebody you have to watch for. Major pass catcher. Today, his targets, his catches, they might go down a little bit, but I still expect Tanner to make a major impact. Where? In the run game, as a blocker. He's not going to be running the ball, but he's going to be laying that outside block, trying to set the edge. If Ball State can hook their runs to the outside with some stretch combinations, try to get some misdirection in there and avoid having to just run the ball up the throat of the Miami defense, that could be key, and Koziel's a big part in doing that.
Tanner Koziel, one of the top tight ends in the nation. Last game, 9 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns to assist in that Northern Illinois win. Now for Miami, who's their offensive player?
Well, Keon Mosey has been really impressive this season. He had 120 yards last game. He's had a couple of 100-yard games over the course of the year. He's always finding himself available. Had a 72-yard run, Isaiah, last week. A couple of big runs that we'll talk about here in a moment. But for Miami, we just talked about the weather. They're going to be looking to run the ball. They are a good running team, the Red Hawks, and if they can find some success, find some consistency against a Ball State defense that at least early in the season really struggled to contain the run. It's gotten better, but there's still, of course, issues. That's an issue that Miami is especially going to be looking to crack. You take a look at Miami, they have a couple of really good runners. Keon Mosey, Kevin Davis is going to get in there, and I think we'll see Dylan Downing spread in there a little bit as well. But Mosey specifically, he's dynamic, he's quick, he'll get off the blocks in a hurry, and the Cardinals will have to anticipate if they're going to be able to slow down the senior.
Well, sheets of rain falling right now, falling sideways as well. We'll see if that lets up, but if that continues, as you mentioned, should be much more of a running game. And, of course, that is something, as you said, Ball State struggled with early in the season, but has gotten a lot better with in recent weeks. And so I think this could be a huge test for the team to see how they can do against this running game in a game that might not have a ton of passing. Head coaches for this one, Mike New for Ball State in his 9th season with the program. He is 40-56 overall. Chuck Martin in his 11th season for Miami has 60 wins and 65 defeats. So Griffin, how have these coaches influenced their programs over really the past decade?
Well, both coaches, and Mike New and Chuck Martin, well, of course, they've had their ups and downs at the helms of these programs. That's certainly the case, but at least in 2024, you look at the way that the coaches are going to be able to make impacts, especially in a game like this. It's going to be in the creativity. Take a game a week and a half ago, for example, right here in Schumann Stadium, Ball State and Northern Illinois. Mike New and his coaching staff really brought out the creativity. We saw a lot of unique plays, whether it be a trick play or just some player personnel that you don't always expect. And for the Cardinals, they thrive off of that because Coach New has gotten, at least in these last couple of weeks, he's gotten the best out of his players. Chuck Martin, he's gotten the best out of this program in the couple of years. Miami have had some record-breaking seasons. This year didn't start the way that they wanted to, but the Red Hawks have responded. They look good. They look hot, as we've talked about. And Chuck Martin and his coaching staff have a major part to play in that.
Well, let's go over some keys to the game for this one. What do these teams have to do to give themselves the absolute best chance in this one? How about Miami, first of all, Griffin?
Well, for Miami, they got to spread the ball out. I mentioned it earlier. They have multiple rushing options. They have a couple of really, really good receivers. And I'm just looking for just an opportunity for the Red Hawks to be creative, to be able to spread the ball out between their options. Ball State have individual talent on defense, but I think when you examine the overall matchup between the Miami offense and the Ball State defense, the options are there and the depth is there for the Red Hawks. They might not be able to go to their wide receiver one, to their running back one all of the time, but if they can beat the Cardinals with depth, the Miami Red Hawks will have success. Outside of that, talking about big plays, Ball State has fallen victim to a lot of big plays, especially on the ground this season. Miami is a team that has had their fair share of big plays on offense. Just this last week, they had 3 50-yard runs or more by 3 different players. They've got the opportunity to explode. They can't force it. You can't be looking for that deep ball constantly. You can't be looking for that highlight play, because you know Ball State, at least if history speaks for itself, are going to succumb 1 or 2 of those over the course of the game. Miami has to wait for their chances as they come and take advantage of them when they do.
Well, some great analysis there, Griffin. Now moving on to the other side, the home team, the Cardinals. What do they have to do in this matchup?
Well, you look at the way these two teams stack up, and this is a Miami team that's going to come in with confidence. They're going to come out on the front foot and try to make Ball State uncomfortable here at their home field. The Cardinals, well, they have to make quick decisions. You have to be quick in the pocket if you're Caden Samanza. You have to be quick if you're Braden Sloan or Vaughn Pemberton trying to read the defense, find holes in the rushing game. It's those quick decisions, Ball State, if they can chisel away, that's where you'll start to find opportunities. But you can't allow Miami to hit you hard early, because momentum has been hard to come by for Ball State if it hasn't come from out of the gate. just to add on to that, avoiding penalties, a big second one. Because when you look at the way that the Cardinals have been able to play, you take last week, for example, they played a really clean 3 quarters of football in that one. They had a couple of late penalties, one that the team is walking off the field. They got a 15-yard penalty to extend the drive, and they got a 15-yard roughing the passer a couple of plays later. That set Northern Illinois up for what was a go-ahead touchdown at that time, and it almost ended up being an unnecessary decider that could have cost the Cardinals the football game. They played 3 quarters against Northern Illinois. They made the Huskies very uncomfortable in those 3 quarters because they didn't give them anything that the Huskies didn't deserve. If they can make that statement ring true once again with Miami, then that will force the Red Hawks to come alive, which could be difficult in this environment.
Well, with it being windy and rainy, we've mentioned a few times, unlikely to be a heavy passing game. But let's suppose there is some passing. I do want to mention the passing offenses, especially for the Red Hawks. For Ball State, they go with their number 1 receiver essentially being their tight end, Tanner Koziel. No surprise there. But for Miami, how good of a test could this be for Ball State's cornerbacks, even in the rain, with Cade McDonald, 38 catches, 507 yards, and 2 scores on the season. Javon Tracy, 429 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Reggie Virgil with 409 yards and 5 touchdowns. Those are all 3 wide receivers. Their top 3 receivers are actually all wideouts, and so it could be really interesting, I think. And I'm curious your thoughts on if that will be a big factor for Ball State to have to stop those wide receivers.
Well, at least on paper, it looks like Brett Gabbard has the chance today to have a field day. You look at McDonald, you look at Tracy and Virgil, and how they've stacked up against opposition in the last couple of games. It's been a ton of success, especially for Javon Tracy, especially for Cade McDonald, who have really thrived. Is it a team that Ball State can stop? Of course. But you're going to look for the linebackers to help in the middle of the field. You're going to look for the corners to be able to contain the sidelines. And it's a test for Ball State, a young Ball State defense, but it's not one that I don't think that they're capable for. When you look at Ball State on the passing game on the other side, we've seen them get hit a little bit with injuries. It's made things tougher. We've seen Justin Bowick. We've seen Ty Robinson both miss time this season, but you mentioned Koziel. He's stepped up. Now, you look for other options. You look for guys like Malcolm Gilley, who had a big catch in the 4th quarter against NIU. You look at guys like Cam Pickett, who really started slow this season, but has been able to find some success as of late, especially on the run game for Pickett. Keon Magwood, another option, and Justin Bowick now back from injury. So the Cardinals have options on the passing game too. Caden Samanza has looked very comfortable considering it is his redshirt freshman campaign, and I think he's got an opportunity, if he's given the allowance to be able to pass the ball in these conditions, to have some fun and try to find some targets in his receivers as this game ticks on.
This is the first season where the MAC will not, the championship of the MAC will not go to the 2 divisions, because there are no division leaders, I should say. There are no more divisions, so we'll go to the top 2 teams in the MAC. Right now, number 1 is Western Michigan. They're 4-0 in the conference. Miami of Ohio, though, is tied for second. They're 3-1. Ball State right now 2-2. But you've got to feel like both of these teams need this win to stay in contention for that championship game potentially in the MAC. Well, we will take another break. When you come back, AJ Swiatek will have first quarter play-by-play. I'm Isaiah Rosner, your pregame host. I will join you once again at halftime. This is Ball State football on SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Ranked number 2 in the nation for sports media by the Broadcast Education Association.
This is Ball State SportsLink.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
The best stories in Ball State sports, plus live broadcasts right in your timeline.
Follow us at BSU SportsLink.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesuites.hamptonin.com. At munciesuites.hamptonin.com.
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State sports with SportsLink Digital.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Hey, this is Tanner Koziel, junior tight end here with Ball State Football. Thanks for tuning in to SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. This is your home for all things Ball State football.
I've read plenty of fairy tales in my time. You really can't write one up better than this. The rain pouring down on election night from Muncie, Indiana. On the 100th rendition of Ball State football, the Cardinals look to regain the Redbird rivalry in their corner. I'm AJ Swiatek. You've already heard from Griffin, Leonard. Griff, I know you already had the opportunity to talk a bit with the pregame show host. You did a great job, by the way, Isaiah Rosner. Griffin, what I want to ask you, something that I didn't hear talked about as much in the pregame. Obviously, it's going to be a run-first game, but that seems to play into Miami of Ohio's strengths, right? This is a team that in the Mid-American Conference loves to run the ball, so much so that they actually are better at running the ball than passing, and their defense is so good in the trenches. That's what I was getting at. Really good up the gut. So, Griffin, a good run defense and a good rushing offense for Miami of Ohio. It feels like on the road, this is the weather that the doctor ordered.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather plays into the hands of the visitors. Miami of Ohio, well, they come out with a ton of options. As we mentioned in the pregame show, not only are they very, very good, very elite on the running game, but they have the options to be able to mix it up if somebody isn't having their best day. You look at guys like Keon Mosey. Well, if he isn't having his day, well, then you hand it off to Kevin Davis. Then you hand it off to Jordan Brunson. Then you hand it off to Dylan Downing. There's options on options on options, AJ. And for a Miami team that's going to look to run the ball with just a situation in Muncie like this with the weather, it's going to be up to the Ball State defense to be able to stop them. They have the power. They have the finesse down in the trenches. But will they have the opportunity to sustain it for 60 minutes? Well, that's another question. We'll figure it out.
Well, in the Mid-American Conference, you don't get midweek action every single season. This is a special one. Both sides had it circled on their calendar. We talked about Chuck Martin's rushing game and rushing defense, but his group, led by Brett Gabbert in the passing game, should this weather stall out, is almost as dangerous.
Then it absolutely is, and it's a Miami team that's multifaceted. They've got the options on the run game, but they've also got the leadership. They've got the age in Brett Gabbert, sixth-year senior out of St. Louis, and he's got his wide receivers around him that can make plays. You got a fifth-year senior in Cade McDonald. You've got a couple of multi-year guys in Virgil and Tracy, and we talked about it. Isaiah and I talked about it with the opportunity to go to a versatile group. You can go to a variety of options. That's where Miami will find their success rather than just belting it to one guy over and over.
You can say that again. Every single rendition of this contest written a bit differently. This is a series with a lot of history in a day in America where history is ready to be rewritten. For more on all of the topics for the first time today, let's send it down to the fourth member of our crew. How we doing, Evan Stowell?
Yeah, AJ, it's raining cats and dogs out here, but this series history, as you alluded to, Miami, Ohio leads the series 23-13-1 all time. But when it comes to the Ball State record in election years, it's a different story. Ball State 6-4-1 in years where there's a presidential election. That first game played back in 1940 on an election year ended in a 0-0 tie in Oxford, Ohio. The 1940 election saw Franklin D. Roosevelt elected for a third term as U.S. president, still the only man to hold that office more than 2 times.
Wow, just amazing stuff from Evan. I mean, the content's great, but how could you not focus on the rain down there? A true trooper. Just, I have to say, Griffin, very grateful we get to call this one from up in the booth.
Yeah, I don't even have a rain jacket on, Evan. Maybe we'll pass you an umbrella, but it's an opportunity for some history to be made. We've talked about Election Day history in the United States, and these two teams with some Mid-American Conference history to be written here tonight in Muncie.
The rain will be a factor. The wind will be a factor. It is gusting up to 25 miles an hour currently from right to left from our vantage point, and only expected to pick up on the radar. It's the 4-4 Miami of Ohio Redhawks ready to take on the 3-5 Ball State Cardinals. We'll be back with the game action on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
For the best stories, access, and coverage of Ball State sports, follow SportsLink on social media platforms Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Search @BSU SportsLink.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Your home for live Ball State sports, streaming right in your timeline.
This is Sports Link Digital.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
SportsLink is the official production partner of Ball State Athletics.
All the chirp you can handle.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Ranked number 2 in the nation for sports media by the Broadcast Education Association.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
Welcome back to a brisk and rainy Schumann Stadium on this Tuesday, November the 5th. During the break, Ball State won the toss. No surprise, they elect to defer. Griffin, that means we'll see Miami of Ohio's offense let out first. Brett Gabbert has the opportunity to pick up a couple of big-time accolades in terms of all-time standings in Miami history. It feels like this has been a different Brett Gabbert, just a little under a year removed from that big-time injury in the MAC championship.
Well, and it's an opportunity now to see how they've all recovered, right? And when you look at a way that both teams have been able to respond with the injuries that they've had, both teams banged up on the offensive defensive side. Of course, that's football, right? But an opportunity as these teams start to run out on the field to show where they currently stand and how they will stack up as this season comes to a close. Just a couple of weeks left in the regular season for both these teams.
Both sides run out. The Ball State Cardinals rock their all-black jerseys. It's white numbers with Ball State Cardinal red striped on the shoulders. As for Miami of Ohio, it's red pants, white tops, white numerals, and of course, the classic red chromatic road helmet. Calling a home field advantage, Ball State will have wind on their side, at least in the early goings. It's pushing right to left. That's the direction the Cardinals will kick. So here on the near side, Miami sets up deep. So we get ready for the first kickoff of the outing. It's Reggie Virgil back there alongside Kevin Davis. As it's a hard kick out of the back of the end zone. And that's how things get underway off of Carson Homer's boot.
Miami trot out there for the first series, AJ, and looking at the way that the water's coming off the lights here at Schumann Stadium, it has slowed down a little bit. An opportunity maybe for the Red Hawks to air it out before the rain comes in strong later in the game.
Miami brings a 10 personnel, no tight end, just a lone tailback. Here's Keon Mosey. 2 men to the left, 2 men to the right here on the near hash. Gabbert, hard count, unable to get anyone to jump. Now he motions. Far side, that's Lionel Billups-Williams out in motion. Snap taken, throw here, close side, just beyond the outstretched arms at the 35. It was tight coverage from the Cardinals all the way through. Eric McLean in there, got a hand on it, intended for Reggie Virgil, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 14:56 to play in the first quarter. Miami in possession of the football on the road.
Well, it's a hard curl on the near side, and McLean does a good job to stay with the receiver. Throws a little bit high to the back shoulder and unable to bring it in that time. Virgil, who had his hand just an inch or two far away.
Near identical look. 2 wideouts to either side of the formation. Lone tailback Mosey. It's a play action. Feeling the heat is Gabbert. He throws and has a man. Here it is, Reggie Virgil. 2 throwing plays to start the day for Miami. Both immediately target big number 0, the 6'4", 190 junior. Hailing all the way from Florida. Just got a couple more receiving yards to tag on what has been a really good year for the former first-team All-State wide receiver.
Drew Hughes broke through the play that time, AJ, completely switching up the play call. Gabbert had to roll out to his right. A good job for the receiver in Virgil to come back to the ball and make the catch.
14:18 to go in the first quarter. 3rd and 4. 5 wide. All eyes on Gabbert. Early movement, it's a false start. Javon Tracy. The ex-receiver got a little giddy, so early the Red Hawks saying, to heck with the idea of running the football. They were lined up 5 wide on 3rd and 4. Now they're in a must-pass situation here. Backed up deep towards their own chain. Call it 3rd down and 9. From the 26, they set up on the near hash. 5 wide again. Ball State showing pressure. They back off from it. 4-man rush. Gabbert, deep ball. Contested and broken up. Nice play on the boundary. As it was a good throw, no flags. Ty Baldwin will get credit with his first pass breakup of the year.
Yeah, Miami go to the sideline with a little slot fade on the far numbers, and Baldwin getting over there, getting that right hand in between the forearms of the receiver. So difficult to time that right and avoid pass interference, but Baldwin does it to perfection. 3 passes, well, it'll only go down for a total 1 yard as they punt.
Punting unit on. Lands early, but it takes a Red Hawks roll. Stalling out around the 31-yard line, right on the near numeral. It stopped at the crescent of that 3. So the first punt comes with 13:33 to play in the first quarter. This will be our first look at the Ball State offense led by Caden Samanza.
And an opportunity to see if Ball State will also maybe surprise us with a little bit of over-the-air passing. Samanza shown confidence to come alive early on in games. Got a couple of receivers out there in the formation of Bowick and Magwood as potential targets early.
Koziel sprints out wide, typically a passing formation here for the Cards. Braden Sloan to the right hip of Samanza. 4 wide, 2 on either side. Samanza fakes the give to Sloan. It's immediately thrown to Koziel and batted down at the line. Great play from the big man up front who just simply willed his way to getting in the way of it. That was Savio Frazier, the senior transfer, just screaming off of the right edge.
Yeah, and Frazier does a good job to get the paws up early. When you're being blocked, it's easy to get tugged down. He gets his right hand up and deflects the pass before it can get it to the tight end.
2nd and 10, Samanza moves under center. Tailback 7 yards back is again Sloan, who will get the give. No, it's a fake and a good one. Ball State has room to run down the near sideline, getting past midfield, pushed out at the 45. Cam Pickett. Samanza sold that fake all the way through. A little trickery flicked out right to number 7. The rest history. Ball State on the good side of the field here on their first effort.
Such a quality block by Chris Hood, the redshirt sophomore on the left tackle position. Opens up the edge and dancing down the sideline. Pickett for a big gain into Red Hawks territory.
Ball State shows trips on the near side. Things are whistled dead as looks like the spot of the football will be under further review. They're saying if Cam Pickett was able to tiptoe the sideline as far as it was initially ruled. So this is the first stoppage in play to this point. But Griffin, if you're Ball State, you've got to feel good about the early goings of what this offense is showing, especially in these elements.
I like the offense and I like the defense so far from the Cardinals, AJ. They're showing no fear. Yeah, they got the pass batted down. It's a good defensive play from the Red Hawks D-line, but the response is there. We'll see how many yards they end up with. Pickett danced the sideline on the near side for a good 10 or 15 yards, walking the tightrope. And our replay crew right next to us is taking a look to see whether or not one of the feet of Cam Pickett grazed the chalk. We'll see where they end up spotting the ball.
It looks like it did.
Ball carrier stepped out of bounds at the 43-yard line. First and 10, Ball State.
So when it's all said and done, it's a net of -12 on the call for the Cardinals. Still a first down, however. Pickett's right foot just went out of play on Ball State's own 43. So it moves the chains, call it 1st and 10. That's where they'll set up shop with the clock beginning to roll. Play clock reads 20 when everyone breaks the huddle. Now it is Kyle Kelly into the game for the first time. Samanza's out wide. Kelly's in the shotgun with 2 men to his hip. Pony package. Fake give to Pickett. Kelly keeps it himself, nowhere to go. He'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Miami sniffed that one out all the way through. A couple of Red Hawks in there swarming all over Kyle Kelly, who will quickly head back to the sideline.
Well, and right after we saw the jet sweep to Pickett, different personnel, I would have liked the same play call, though, because the defense is expecting that to end up going to a different option. Pickett had the edge around with the jet sweep. Again, if they had opted to go with it, not sure if it was a read option. Kelly kept not much there.
Ball State set up on the near hash. They'll go 5 wide, but the furthest out on the right side of the field, still within the hashes. So Samanza not going to have to push the ball far. It works to his advantage. That's exactly who he targets. On the far side of the field, it's Keon Magwood, who is set up in more of a Z spot compared to his traditional slot. Broke outside and makes it a 3rd and very manageable. So 2nd and 10 turns into what looks to be about 3rd and 4.5 here for Ball State.
Well, Magwood makes the catch. Ball State unafraid to throw, but you can tell the way that ball's coming out of Samanza's hand. It's fluttering to his receiver, not able to get the zip that the redshirt freshman would normally want.
That was Luke Evans in on the tackle. 3rd and 4 now with 11:50 to go. Samanza from the shotgun dances around. Sidearm delivery intercepted. Caden Samanza tried to get fancy. It doesn't work. And Ball State with the first big mistake of the game. With weather like this, turnover is going to mean all the more. And Samanza wanted to go out of a unconventional arm slot. It's what he's typically coveted for. But instead, Rayon Strader gets the interception.
and that's a really good play from the defense. They brought pressure to Samanza, who wanted the quick ball. He had Braden Sloan in the flat to his right, but was looking left early in the play, came back to the right, and there was just some indecisiveness through it between two receivers, and the defense made the play.
Miami quickly trots the offense out. The left hip is Keon Mosey. It's Brett Gabbert again goes to the hard count. Once again, it fools no Cardinals. They send 5, give up the middle. Good read, finding the hole and slicing through the defense. Call it a gain of 8 is Keon Mosey. Going back to the big turnover, Rayon Strader, a familiar name for Ball State fans, unfortunately. As a freshman last year, he had his lone career interception here against Ball State. Now his second career INT again against the Cardinals. This guy always elevates his play when it comes to Mid-American Conference play, but especially the Redbird Rivalry. So it's 11:15 to play, 2nd and 2 for Miami of Ohio, who are officially across midfield, comfortably set up at the 47 of the Cardinals. It's a shotgun give, and again, it's a good read from Mosey, who's able to slither through for a gain of 2. It'll depend on the spot, but from our vantage point, look just good enough to move the chains.
Well, and Mosey shows his maneuverability here in the last couple of plays. We remember the Red Hawks throwing the ball, opting to throw the ball on all 3 downs, going 3 and out on their first drive, going to the ground here, trying something else, and the senior finding the gaps right down the middle of the Ball State defense. I think they got to look to Ball State defensively, bring in Stemler, bring in Royster, try to plug up the defense in the middle of the field, force the Red Hawks outside.
Well, they will say the Kansas State transfer had enough for the first down, so it's a fresh set for Miami. With 10:20 to play at the Ball State 44, fake the give. All day to throw, gonna air it out downfield. He has a man, it's off of his hands. Oh my goodness, it was on the money from Brett Gabbert. Despite the rain, he just put that thing on a frozen rope, but unable to haul it in. Cade McDonald, he got behind the Ball State defense. D.D. Snyder appeared to slip on his way back there, but it's off of both of his hands, and number 15 just dropped 6 points.
Well, and Udo was in there on coverage, too. It was a double move, originally a post across the middle of the field, cut out to the end zone. The throw was there, just about a half yard overthrown.
Into the wind, teeth of the rain, Gabbert unaffected. He gets nothing to show for it. 2nd and 10, 10-14 to play in the first quarter. Miami set up in Ball State territory. From the shotgun, throw to the boundary, good one. It's on the money. Call it a gain of 9 to bring up 3rd down and 1 as Gabbert knew where he wanted to go all the way through. And that's good veteran presence right there, going right back to McDonald after his drop.
Well, and Ball State brings a soft zone on that play. You have Will Yates, who's sitting right about the line to gain, comes in to make the tackle, but Miami able to fight for 9 yards, sets him up for a very manageable 3rd and 1.
That it is. Miami a little late to get out of the huddle. No shock here. They'll go under center.
Cardinals stack in the box.
It's Dylan Downing, 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, the lone back. Motion across the formation. It is a give to Downing. The power back is blown up through the middle. Ball State saw it all the way through. And they forced the Red Hawks to pay the price. It's a loss of 3 on the halfback draw.
The Cardinals overstacked the middle of the field with linebackers, and Brandon Berger came in practically untouched, left to right, and slammed the running back down to the ground and Downing. That brings up 4th down and decision time. It looks like the Red Hawks will punt. It's a long game, AJ. 4th and 3 from the 37, maybe not appetizing at this moment in time.
I'll be honest, that decision shocks me. You mentioned it, 4th and 3 from the opponent's 37. I get not feeling comfortable with a field goal in these conditions, but have some faith in the offense. See if they want to get tricky here. Punter Bevelheimer leaving no choice as the delay of game will move the offense back. So now it certainly is a special team scenario, but that means Ball State's defense did their job as
just some confusion there with the delay game. I think it was an intentional delay game from the Miami offense to give their punter a little more room to work with. But our head referee, I don't think realizing the situation of Ball State's okay with that, those yards being moved back.
takes out the option of going forward on fourth. So the redshirt senior transfer, Bevelheimer, dropped the snap. He's going to have to try to throw it. It's intercepted. Ball State's moving the other way. No one's going to get there. 6 points picked up by the special teams. Brandon Berger all the way to the end zone. Ball State leads it 6-0 on an unreal turn of events.
It's just what a mistake from the Miami punter and Bevelheimer, who's just put in such a tough position, drops the snap, and then makes the decision to throw the ball, trying to get it perhaps just an incompletion rather than take the loss of yards. But it's thrown right up into the air. Brandon Berger in the right place at the right time, and it's just a foot race after that. Berger's maybe not the fastest player on the field, but he'll win that race 10 out of 10 times.
Plenty of greenway in front of him. No shot anyone was getting to 13. Corvo's on to tack on the point after. Ball State special teams much more clean. Call it 7-0 as the player who deserves the most credit there, the senior for Ball State, Nathan Reichert, who just smashed his way up the gut of that Miami offensive line. He actually had his arms wrapped around Alec Bevelheimer when he tried to get rid of the football. You mentioned it, ill-advised, have to go down at that point. Instead, it's a flick directly to Brandon Berger and Griffin. That is the exact break that Ball State needs in a game at home where, admittedly, only the Loyals are here.
Well, and after Caden Samanza threw the interception on the Cardinals' first offensive drive, technically that'll go down as an interception and a turnover for the Miami Redhawks defense. Ball State, of course, is happy to take the points rather than possession in their own territory, and a momentum shift about halfway through the first quarter.
Well, there's 8:24 to play in that aforementioned first quarter. The Ball State Cardinals lead it 7-0 behind a Brandon Berger special teams touchdown. You can't even call it a blocked punt, really. It was an interception from the arms of the punter, Alec Bevelheimer. We'll be back with coverage of the first quarter. AJ Swiatek, joined by Griffin Leonard next on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pregame Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pregame Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
What up, Cardinals fans? This is Kyle Kelly, redshirt junior cornerback for Ball State football. You're listening to SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
The Cardinals get on the board first, call it 7-0 off of a special teams mishap from Miami, Ohio. Ball State found themselves in the right place at the right time and took full advantage behind the interception for Brandon Berger. It's not only his first of the season, his first ever. The senior from Indianapolis, Indiana, adds to a monster campaign where he has 5 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss. Now we can add a touchdown to what has been a memorable senior year for the 6'4", 251-pounder.
Yeah, what an end to the drive for Brandon Berger. Comes through with a big TFL on the third down rush and then follows that up with a highlight play running back the interception for 50 yards. The Cardinals lead here with 8:24 to go, and they'll kick it away to the visiting team.
So the rain has already made an impact on the special teams units early. Ball State got the better of it, and here there will be no opportunity for a miscue. It's out the back of the end zone right to left. So the Ball State defense right back on the field after doing their job. Miami's offense looking for a different result, however. They have 2 drives resulting in 0 points.
But the Redhawks can't let that phase them, right? You've seen a Miami team, a Miami offense that has come out looking very good for the majority of that second drive. Some really solid run plays in there. The way it ended, of course, is the way that they're going to remember it. But you got to take the positives from that drive translated over here.
1st and 10, set up at the 25. Miami goes left to right on the right hash. Is where Gabbert sets up with Mosey to his right hip. It's a high snap. He's just able to corral it. Gives to Mosey for a loss of 1. That's crisis averted as Brett Gabbert just one-handed that thing out of the air.
And that's on the center, Charlie Nank. You have that high snap up into the air, the extra time it takes for the quarterback to then give it to Mosey. Well, that's all the time that Ball State needs defensively to get in there and make the tackle for a loss.
And that play looked like it was drawn up to be a counter, turned into more of a halfback draw off schedule due to, as you mentioned, the miscue from the redshirt junior Charlie Nink, who had the high snap there. We'll see if it gets in the mind at all of Brett Gabbert. Really hard to play quarterback when you can't trust the shotgun snap. 2nd and 11. This time the snap clean. It's a fake give from the shotgun. Looking to push the ball deep downfield. He has a man. 1-on-1, it's caught. All the way to the Ball State 35. As it looked like that was Reggie Virgil able to come down with it. Yes, it was the junior from Apopka, Florida, in 1-on-1 coverage, is able to catch it over Yates.
And that's a heck of a play because you have a crossing route come across the middle of the field. That draws the safety away, sets up one-on-one coverage on the top of the field, exactly what Miami's doing when they drop that play. Yates in decent positioning, but the vertical ability of Reggie Virgil wins the battle for Miami. That's a huge play down to the 35.
How about it? All we talked about in the pregame was pounding the rock. Miami instead looking to push it downfield. It works there. So it's 1st and 10 from the 35. Right back to Mosey they go. Again, not much to it. He'll barely get back to the line of scrimmage. First line of attack there for the Cardinals up front, Joey Stemler. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the Ball State 34. 6:24 to play in the first quarter. The Cardinals lead it 7-0 behind Brandon Berger's special teams touchdown. But Miami of Ohio driving in the right direction. Last time their drive got to the Ball State side of the field, this is where things stalled out. Now they look to push the needle. Set up on the left hash. There's 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Called 11 personnel. Snap is good. Again pushing the ball downfield. Throw far too high. Had a man open, but unable to get to it was Javon Tracy. That one airmailed him.
Really interesting look for Ball State defensively that time. They brought a 4-man rush, but then delayed with the linebackers coming in on a late blitz. I think it surprised the quarterback Gabbert a little bit. Had to get the ball out earlier than I think he thought when he initially gauged the defensive look he was presented with, and as you mentioned, just airmailed Tracy, who was open, but the defender was converging in. The ball had to get there in a hurry, and the throw just wasn't there.
Rain feels like an understatement at this point. It's torrential downpour. It's only picked up since kickoff with 5:57 to go in the first quarter. It's 3rd down and 9 for Miami of Ohio on the right side of the field. Gabbert, back to pass. All day to throw. Out of the 5-step drop, he has a man. Down inside the 1-yard line. It's a touchdown. After coughing it up, he recovered in the end zone. It'll count just the same for Virgil, who again did a double move downfield, this time on the left side of the field. He came down with a catch at the 10, somehow stayed on his feet and recovered his own change in the end zone for what for now is being ruled the Miami, Ohio touchdown on the field.
And I think they're going to take a look at this spot here. They're going to take a look at the spot. It looked like the knee of the receiver may have been down with the ball just about a 1/4 of a yard short. We'll see, of course, if that ends up being the case, but that's just blown coverage. You have Eric McLean, who's that left side corner on the far side of the field. He gets completely beat. It looks like they went with a cover 3 package and just left too much of a gap open between the 2 deep cover safeties on that play. Unable to get across the field as Udo, and the Redhawks, if not a touchdown, at least set themselves up for 6 with the ball on the 1 or in the goal line.
And that's admittedly a tough ask for a true freshman in Eric McLean to guard Javon Tracy, Miami's leading receiver to this point, who just tacked on some meaningful yards there. We'll see what the official ruling is on the field if the knee was down before the fumble and recovery in the end zone. But you mentioned it, regardless, MOH will be set up inside the 1. So the call stands. It's touchdown number 5 on the year for a guy who finished top 5 in Mr. Football Indiana rankings just 3 short years ago. Javon Tracy broke down the field. Brett Gabbert gets touchdown 14 on the year, one step closer to sole possession of second all-time in Miami of Ohio, passing touchdowns behind just Ben Roethlisberger. So out to do the kicking is Dom Ziabon. Snap is good, hold is good, so is the kick. We're deadlocked at 7s. So the Redhawks moved down with ease after the fact. There was a flag that was picked up, but it'll count just the same. Call it 7-7 with 5:48 to play as there are fans on the field here at the near side. They'll get that handled during the break. 3 minutes will be the break period as Ball State picked up 7 on special teams. The Redhawks go the conventional route, pushing the ball down the field in the rain. I'm AJ Swiatek, joined by Griffin Leonard. We'll be back with more coverage next on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Ranked number 2 in the nation for sports media by the Broadcast Education Association.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paint work on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
The best stories in Ball State sports, plus live broadcasts right in your timeline.
Follow us at BSU SportsLink.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptoninn.com. At munciesweets.hamptoninn.com.
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State sports with SportsLink Digital.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
You're listening to Ball State football, streaming live with SportsLink Digital.
Now back to the stadium.
On a day that will be remembered in history, we're all tied up at 7s with 5:48 to play in the first quarter between Miami and Ball State. It was most recently the 34-yard grab hauled in by Virgil. Was able to pick up receiving touchdown number 5 on the campaign. PAT was true. And now Ball State's offense will take the field for what feels like the first time in an eternity. After starting with the football, they haven't had a possession since. Barring another special teams play here, we'll see them trot out as the kick is sent left to right. Won't make its way to the end zone, so we'll see a Ball State return. Miami, Ohio running with some steam. Hit the runner at the 15. That's exactly where he goes down. So not a good return for Ball State. They'll set up deep into their own territory. Malcolm Gilley really had no room to run.
He didn't have much room to run. You mentioned the time it's been since Ball State has had the football. It's been 6 minutes now, 11:45, the time when the pass from Caden Samanza was intercepted. Now a chance, because the scoreboard, of course, a little deceiving right now. Ball State has not found a way to get going in offense. We'll see if Samanza and the Cardinals can get going, moving the football right to left.
They go jumbo here. 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 running backs, 2 wideouts. As Samanza from the shotgun does give to the tailback. It's Sloan inside, able to truck a tackler at the line of scrimmage. Turns a 2-yard pickup into 6, and that's big time. It makes the next couple of downs much more manageable.
And that's a big-time truck on the right side of the offensive line, and I think still feeling that one a little bit in the secondary for Miami as Sloan ran through him, picked up a pretty good gain of 7 officially, and the Cardinals in short field position for 2nd and 3.
Can never feel good to get hit by a full head of steam like that, especially in the cold rain. So it will be 2nd and just a little over 3 yards for Ball State, who motion over and give up the middle. Caden Samanza makes the right read. Looked like it was a bit of a run option. He either could have flipped it in the backfield or give it to Vaughn Pemberton. It was the right decision as big number 23 was able to bustle for the first down.
Well, and Pemberton was nearly gone on that play. Eli Blakey, who's one of the leading tacklers on this Miami defense, he did a good job of grabbing Pemberton by the right ankle. He didn't make the tackle, but he slowed down the running back enough to prevent the big gain.
1st and 10 at Ball State's own 37 in a tied ball game with 4:30 to play. Samanza fakes the give. He's got plenty of time to throw. Ultimately checks it down to Vaughn Pemberton. Didn't see anything he liked downfield, so instead the halfback just split out of the backfield, turned around awaiting the leather. Good move from Samanza, who, despite only being a redshirt freshman, showing some poise following his interception.
Well, the Cardinals wanted a deep shot there on 1st down. They went with a 3 or 4 deep routes, including Justin Bowick on the near side here, was ready to streak down the sideline, but just opting to go short, and perhaps the smart call.
Kyle Kelly now in at quarterback. Again, Samanza out wide as Kelly has a triple option here. He'll keep it himself and get close to the marker. Depending on where the line judge has it, looks like he just got enough for the first down with some extracurriculars after the fact. And Ball State looking for a flag. They're not going to find one despite Kelly winding up on the turf.
Well, I wouldn't have blamed the Cardinals one bit for asking for one, though. That was Savio Frazier who made the hit. The whistles blew before that Kyle Kelly went down, and then Frazier threw him to the ground on the end of that play. I'd understand a flag if it was a regular player on the offensive team, let alone a quarterback who had the football.
Well, Kelly heads back to the sideline. It will be 2 wideouts to the right with Samanza on the right-hand hash. And he'll give up the gut again. It's another mean run up the middle for Ball State, keeping the legs churning. Be close to enough for a first down. It looks like it is just that. So a good give up the gut. Couldn't exactly see who the tailback was here with how thick the rain is. But Griffin, did you have a vantage point on who just picked up the 11-yard carry?
Yeah, that was TJ Horton who got the ball for the first time today. A little sidestep to the right. We talked about Miami's run offense. Ball State has looked very dangerous on the ground here in the first quarter.
That they have. They'll go spread. 5 wide, 3 receivers on the near side, 2 beyond the far side hash. As Samanza barks out commands to his own line and takes the snap cleanly. Throw over the middle, Koziel caught on about a 5-yard gain. As Samanza doing a really good job of working in the rhythm of this offense here on the second drive. 2:30 to play in the first quarter. It'll be 2nd and 5 at the Miami of Ohio 38 in a tied ball game at 7s.
A lot of quarterbacks, they like to go with the hard count. Samanza kind of goes with the fake count where he pretends to clap his hands together. You can't see me, but I'm waving my arms like a maniac here in the booth. And what that does is it allows the Cardinals to pick up on potential blitzers. They're able to identify the right side linebacker as somebody who was going to streak in, picked up the block, and made the throw.
It's Kyle Kelly now in the shotgun. Samanza goes out wide. Wanted the football on a pass. Instead, Kyle keeps it up the middle on a QB draw that works to perfection. And with 2nd down and 4, the Cardinals pick up 5. The chains continue to move. That a 3rd first down on this drive for the squad rocking their all-black look.
We've still only seen Kyle Kelly throw the ball for a completion once this season, but I really like the stuff that he's been able to do on the ground as that option quarterback. We knew Mike New was going to probably go with it sporadically over the course of the season. He's done it more than potentially expected, and it's worked for the majority of the season.
Horton back in the game. He motions out of the backfield, so it is now a lone look for Samanza, the quarterback who wants to go over the middle and has a man. Tanner Koziel extended both hands high. He's able to get to it, and inside the 10-yard line he goes. Big-time pickup for Ball State. Call it 29 yards on a rocket sling from Caden Samanza, who knew where he wanted to go with that football all the way through, delivered to his big-bodied tight end. The rest history.
Yeah, Samanza finds his favorite target just outside the right hash marks. Koziel, so many strengths. One of them bringing in the high passes. He's able to go up, go get that ball, and come down, take the hit, and grab the first down.
He beat Rayon Strader off the line. So it's 1st and goal for the Cardinals with Samanza. Quick throw to the out, nowhere to go. That's a mean hit as Keon Magwood just got clobbered. Samanza, the first over there to help him up alongside big right tackle Taryn Tayo, as Caden really fortunate that wasn't a hospital ball. That was left far too outside of the numbers, forced his receiver to readjust his entire body. He was left defenseless and just took a big-time blow.
Magwood barely was even able to make the turn, as we're going to see the seconds tick off the clock to end this first quarter. Blakey making another huge hit on the defensive side, and he's got a couple of tackles already, up to 2 in this first quarter, which concludes with a tie game.
Maybe not the way it was predicted early amidst a big-time storm in Muncie, Indiana. Both sides on the scoreboard. The clock reaches zeros in the first quarter, reading Ball State 7, Miami, Ohio 7. But the Cardinals inside the 10. They'll have 2nd down from the MOH9 when we're back to kick off the second quarter on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptoninn.com. At munciesweets.hamptoninn.com.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, Pay-Per-Go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
What up, Cardinals fans? This is Kyle Kelly, redshirt junior cornerback for Ball State football. You're listening to Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Ball State and Miami all tied at 7s with a little bit of lull in the action here. Before the second quarter gets underway, we'll send it down to the third member of our crew as a little bit more on why this could be a rare midweek action success for Ball State.
Yeah, AJ, thank you. For Ball State, they've only played midweek action against Miami, Ohio 7 times. In those 7 appearances, they are 1-6 against the Red Hawks. Their lone win coming back in 2008, a 31-16 ball game for the Cardinals. Now, the origins of midweek action started all the way back in 2000 on October 5th. It's a Thursday night. Western Michigan played Marshall. Western Michigan took that win 30-10 for the first ever iteration of Mid-American Conference midweek football.
Wow, should have prepared me for that history lesson. Awesome stuff from Evan, as usual, patrolling the sidelines. As Ball State looks to improve that 1-6 record to a mere 2-6. Still plenty of time to go. It will be a fresh clock in the second quarter with both sides switching sides. So the Cardinals now moving left to right. Set up on the Miami of Ohio 9-yard line with a 2nd and goal. Kyle Kelly will be in the shotgun. Von Hemberton to his right hip. Christian Abney, the tight end, in the formation with trips out to the left side. Kelly takes the direct snap. He'll keep it himself and run into a red wall. Nowhere to go as Matt Salopek eventually made the solo tackle on the outside. It'll be a tough 3rd and goal from the 8 for the Cardinals.
And I like that play call on first down, AJ, but on 2nd and goal from the 9, I'd like to see Samanza back out there. He's been good on this drive after throwing the interception early. Perfect 4 for 4 this go around, and out there, out wide on the far hash instead of under center. Now heads into the shotgun for 3rd down.
Rain pushing in the face now of Ball State. 3rd and goal to go from the 8. Samanza from the shotgun surveys his options. Plenty of time to throw. He thinks about keeping it himself. Spins to an awaiting defender. Fumbles, gets it back, and ultimately is brought down beyond the line of scrimmage. Samanza fortunate to even hang on to the football there. It's a loss of 3 as Miami initially didn't generate much rush up front, but the back end did their job. Ball State couldn't get open. It will be a field goal try for Corville.
The Ball State offensive line did a pretty good job of giving Samanza time in the pocket, but the pocket's only going to hold for so long. Caden tried to scramble to the right, tried to cut it back left, and almost lost the ball in the process. Lucky for the Cardinals to be even kicking for 3 here as they trot out the kicking unit.
That'll go as Corey Suttle's first solo sack of the year, as Corville looks to get Ball State their lead back. Snap is good, kick is up, and it is good, so the 27-yarder easy for Corville, even in spite of the elements. Griffin, Ball State likely would have liked to get a touchdown out of that drive, but in these conditions, any points, certainly nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, you'll take a lead, and more importantly, this early in the game, it establishes the Cardinals' ability to have effective offense. We talked about it at the beginning of this drive at the scoreboard. Despite the fact that it was all square, it was a little misleading because Ball State's touchdown on the defensive end of the ball game via the pick 6, the Cardinals had yet to have a successful offensive drive, and in fact, that was only the second offensive possession the Cardinals had in the first quarter, turned early to the second. But for the Cardinals, they established that they can drive. They couldn't get it in for the touchdown, but a chance for the defense to stand strong here and give Samanza and co. another opportunity.
Ball State avoid disaster. Samanza got his own fumble back, so with 13:28 to play and a good field goal, the Cardinals lead at 10-7 in this second quarter of action. It's midweek action at its finest. Happy Election Day to all who celebrate. We'll be back with coverage next on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Ranked number 2 in the nation for sports media by the Broadcast Education Association.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership, and here's why. We stand behind every car we sell and are dedicated to helping our customers save time and money. All our pre-owned cars undergo a rigorous 182-point inspection and come with a 90-day warranty to ensure that you're getting a Victory quality vehicle. Plus, you'll get 2 years of complimentary oil changes and tire rotations. We're part of a top 15 dealership group and have an enormous selection of vehicles with access to inventory at over 45 locations. You always get more for your trade and the best possible rates with us. We have an excellent relationship with hundreds of lenders. Our exclusive Car Doc maintenance and membership program will help you save hundreds of dollars in the process of maintaining your vehicle. Lastly, our state-of-the-art body shop and certified technicians perform high-quality repairs and paintwork on most vehicle makes and models. Victory Honda of Muncie. We're not just another car dealership.
The best stories in Ball State sports, plus live broadcasts right in your timeline.
Follow us at BSU SportsLink.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesuites.hamptonin.com. At munciesuites.hamptonin.com.
The Ball State Cardinals lead the Miami of Ohio Redhawks 10-7 with 13:28 to play after a first drive interception. Caden Samanza now sits at 5 for 7 with 41 yards, 23 yards the long on the big-time completion to Tanner Koziel. The offense has looked more cohesive on the other end as the Redhawks, led by Gabbert, will look to build off of some recent success. Their last drive went for 7.
Well, and we'll see how they can indeed build off of that. It was a slow start for the Redhawks offensively. Brett Gabbert still not having a dream day, only 50% completion, but he had a couple of big plays, found a long pass on the beginning of the drive, found a long pass for the touchdown. That's about it, though, for Miami. An opportunity to go right to left for the first time, try to find some success on the ground, just 10 yards so far for Mosey.
The Redhawks offense will have the wind at their back as Carson Homer sends his squib kick out that is bobbled, and Miami is able to get on top of it. They'll run forward with a little bit of steam, not much going after the fact. Down at the 32-yard line is where Miami of Ohio will set up shop. That was really a strange sequence all around.
And not sure if that squib kick was intentional. With the weather, you can never be too sure. But it didn't look to be the initial kind of just arc of the ball that you would expect from a squib kick. It looked like it got off the ground and kind of just dipped right back down. We're going to see another break here. It's the ESPN Effect national TV game for the Cardinals. And a chance for Miami and Ball State to talk it over a little bit more as we continue to move forward.
Well, how can you not love midweek action? Griffin, at least for the time being, we'll keep it here. The Cardinals leading by 3, 13:24 to play. The defense and special teams have done their job, but Miami, fresh off of a touchdown drive, they'll get to trot the redshirt senior quarterback right back out there. If you're Brett Gabbert and company, what's the message to an offense that's looked to push vertical early?
Well, Isaiah and I talked in the pregame about Miami's ability and need against Ball State to spread out the offense. So far, they haven't done that, but it's worked out okay for them because Reggie Virgil has been outstanding in the passing game. 41-yard catch and one upwards of 35 alongside it. 80 yards for the senior, or rather the junior receiver, which is almost all of their total yards so far as a team, accounting to one person. Virgil, I would expect, with a little bit of confidence, a little pep in his step, to continue to get open, but I'll enforce the idea once again that Miami need to find other options because the Cardinals, who have made a couple mistakes defensively, a slip, a misread by the safety in McLean, I don't expect those problems to continue for the full 60 minutes, and the Redhawks will have to find other options offensively.
Well, Miami's offense found what they were looking for on a 3rd and 9 that was completed deep downfield. You mentioned it, Reggie Virgil for a touchdown on their last time out. Samanza just finished with 4 straight completions, but only 3 points to show for it on the Cardinals' pass drive. That's how they lead at 10-7, but a really telling stat early in this one, Miami of Ohio, the team that's really prideful on their run game, only averaging a mere 1.6 yards per rush. Ball State 5.8 per carry on the ground. They've been winning the trenches early.
Well, and Ball State's been able to spread out the run game. You have 4 running backs in double digits, of course. That's not necessarily eye-popping numbers, but when you look at the Miami's team on the other side of the ball that only has 8 total rushing yards as a team, then it starts to stand out a little bit. Ball State has taken advantage of their opportunities. They've been able to spread the ball out between Pemberton, Sloan, and we've seen guys like Kelly and guys like Pickett get in on the run game as well. Miami a little bit lacking in that category. They tried out a couple of running backs here for their first play from scrimmage.
So with 13:24 to go in the second quarter, Miami brings their offense out of the break. Looks to catch fire here in the rain on the road. Gabbert will set up in the pistol. Lone running back is Keon Mosey. No receivers on the right side of the formation. All three lined up in a trip set on the left. Gabbert motions one now inside. He'll sell the fake hard. Pushes the ball downfield. Open man is Virgil, who nearly just caught another. Just a little off timing there from Gabbert, who pushed the ball all the way inside Ball State's 20, but just barely out of reach for a guy who nearly just picked up his second score.
And Gabbert's going to want to have that throw back. What an arm on the sixth-year senior. Finds Virgil. Of course it's Virgil down the field with another opportunity just up over the head of the diving receiver. Ball State have to make adjustments defensively. They have no single high safety, nobody to monitor that deep part of the field, and they almost got burned once again.
Virgil got behind Jordan Coleman. That's how it is 2nd and 10 with a give up the middle. That picks up about half of the yardage necessary for Miami. They'll have a 3rd down and around 5 after a give right up the middle to who else but Keon Mosey. So it will be 3rd and 5 at the Miami of Ohio 38-yard line with 12:50 to play. Ball State leads it 10-7. And it's really hard to imagine Miami looking anywhere but Reggie Virgil's direction here. We got 2 receivers set to either side. From the shotgun, Gabbert again with the hard count. Unable to fool anyone up front. Ball State has done good discipline-wise on the D-line. Now it is a true snap. Pressure brought from the Cardinals. Picked up well by Miami. With room to run, there was a shot for a 1st down. Wide open, but slipping with the football on the running play was Javon Tracy. As it will be a really close call here to see if he slipped before the first, but it looks like he was able to reach the football beyond the chain. So it is a 1st down for Miami. Number 11 had room to run, however.
Well, and Tracy got some room on the out route, and good thing, too, because the pass was a little bit behind him, an opportunity for an interception if the DB had not slipped. 1st down for Miami.
1st and 10 at the 43. To give up the middle. Trying to find the way to the outside is Mosey. He does just that. 45, 35, 30. Mosey sprints out of bounds at the Ball State 32-yard line. It was schemed up the middle, but the great ball carrier vision from the 5'7" senior transfer to bounce outside and just run with the wind at his back. Really good job to get to the top speed quickly for the kid.
Well, and that's just the pure brutality of this Miami, Ohio offensive line. You've got 307 and 324 on the left side, able to just push and push their way into a clear running lane for Mosey, who takes his way up the sideline.
Far and away the longest rush play of the day. It'll be 1st and 10 from that Ball State 32. Miami goes back to passing. It's right back to Virgil, who was a yard short of the sticks on a comeback route, but really good timing. He was on the same page of his quarterback. So after the big-time run, Miami able to push the ball through the air. It'll set up 2nd and inches and an opportunity for a shot play if that is the direction Chuck Martin and company want to go.
And this is a matchup that Miami continues to exploit. Reggie Virgil against the corner in Eric McLean, who has had a rough half trying to contain the junior.
10:34 to go. Miami on the Ball State side of the field. Call it the 23. 2nd and inches. It won't be a shot play. It will be a delayed give up the middle to Mosey, who rumbles forward for about 5, just beyond the left hash. He goes down at the Ball State 17-yard line as he was wrestled down to the turf there in between the numbers and near hash. Mosey getting the bulk of the work here after his 25-yard pickup. This one marked as 6. Fresh set of downs here for the Redhawks with just under 10 now to play in the second quarter, trailing by 3. Brett Gabbert, one receiver to his left, 2 to the right. It's an 11 personnel. Fakes the give. It's a designed rollout to the right. Now he looks back to his left and will ultimately just loft one out of the back of the end zone. Again, looking in the direction of Reggie Virgil, but really good tight coverage from D.D. Snyder.
It was Snyder and it was Miles Norwood who's sitting there as that corner on the receiver, and Virgil, now McLean now on the bench for the Cardinals. And this is a situation, as Miami has now entered the red zone for the first time today, that could actually play into the hands of Ball State. They don't have to worry about getting beat over top with the deep ball and can focus on those one-on-one matchups, forcing the Redhawks to really have to beat them individually.
Tight end Jack Coldiron checks out in favor of a wideout. So it's 4 wide receivers, 1 tailback. So will be a give from this look to Mosey up the middle, who again just finds a way to fight for extra yards, but look to be a pickup of 2, slithers into a gain of 5. So it will be 3rd and 5 from the Ball State 12, with Miami likely looking for more than just a tie up here, trailing by 3.
We've seen a couple of run plays now where Mosey's really been able to get his feet churning. Ball State have set back into deeper zone coverage, and with Mosey's quickness, able to get a couple yards down the field before the Cardinals are even really able to respond. It's a result of those deep balls, the Cardinals having to overcompensate in the secondary and allowing Miami to pick up easy yards on the ground.
Interesting look here for the Redhawks. 3 wide receivers out wide, 1 in motion across the formation, but an empty backfield as Gabbert throws to the man in motion. It's Virgil, run after the catch into the end zone. Redhawks have their first lead of the day. Going all the way to the right side pylon, running with room and steam was Reggie Virgil, as he caught it around the 5, had Ball State defenders all around him, but just simply outpranced them. The kicking unit out to extend the lead to 4 potentially here for Miami of Ohio. On what was a perfectly drawn up 3rd down play to who else but Virgil, who has both touchdowns for this visiting team here in the first half. Ziaban out to do the point after. Now 2 for 2 on PATs. Griffin. Reggie Virgil's impact cannot be understated. With that catch for a touchdown, he now leads this contest with 101 receiving yards. There's still 8:52 to play in the second quarter.
And that number is just astounding. You go back to that play call. I love how it's drawn up, where you actually have Cam Perry as that guy coming across the formation in the backfield. You have Virgil set up in the slot where he can just run out to the flat. The motion kind of turns into a wheel route, so it creates some space, creates a diversion for Virgil to kind of just sit there, wait for his moment, and then turn upfield after the short pass, untouched on his way to the end zone. 101 yards on 5 receptions. Wow. In what is that, 22, 23 minutes? And an opportunity for him to have a career day here with a long ways to go. Miami finds the response they were looking for after Ball State's field goal.
That touchdown also pushed Gabbert, of course, over 100 passing yards. 101 of his 115 have gone to the same target in Reggie Virgil. Ball State's going to have to find an answer to at least slow down the perpetual damage of number 0, who couldn't believe how wide open he was. It was the perfectly called play from offensive coordinator Pat Welsh. After catching things over the middle of the field at the 5, he just continued to sprint into the E of the end zone all the way on the far side. Miami of Ohio was able to capitalize with a point after, so it's 14-10 with 8:52 to go. When we're back, Ball State's offense will take the field looking to regain their lead on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
Well, there's just something in the air in this 100th season of Ball State football. I've enjoyed the company of Griffin, Leonard, and Isaiah Rosner up here in the booth, and obviously enjoying the spiritual connection I have down on the sideline with Evan Stowell. For more on being in good company, but specifically in the same conversation as Ben Roethlisberger, let's send it down to the third member of our crew. How's it hanging, Evan?
AJ, it's hanging. It's still wet down here, but as you mentioned, 6-year quarterback redshirt senior Brett Gabbert just took over sole place second all-time with 74 touchdown passes in his Miami, Ohio career. You mentioned Big Ben. He had 84, so still a little bit of work to do to take over that number 1 spot, but another accolade for this guy, the 2019 MAC Freshman of the Year, the 2021 and 2023 third-team All-MAC. This guy has done just about everything at Miami, Ohio, and he is killing it this season.
Well, being mentioned in the same conversation as Ben Roethlisberger, a Hall of Famer, never a bad thing, as Miami of Ohio has had their fair share of really notable football grads. The one getting attention currently, of course, Sean McVay, who has now gone on to coach the Los Angeles Rams. He was a wideout who has to be impressed with what he's seen from Reggie Virgil. 101 yards on the day for the wideout, who just extended the Miami lead 2-4. It's a kick out of the back of the end zone, so Ball State's offense will set up shop at the 25. Griffin, we've seen two different approaches from these offenses early.
Two completely different approaches. You talk about Virgil. This is a Ball State team on the other side that has spread out their attack. Koziel with 2 catches for 29 yards. He leads the team in total yards outside of course, the quarterback in Samanza. Ball State with 6 different rushers already if you count the 2 quarterbacks, and we'll see how they vary the approach here as they try to respond after the touchdown.
Jumbo package for Ball State. They go heavy up front with 7 faces as Samanza opts to throw to the outside. This is Cam Pickett on a little wide receiver bubble screen. Call it a game of 4, so Ball State pushes to their own 29 on first down.
Cam Pickett's a guy that I'd love to see get going a little bit for this Ball State team. The redshirt sophomore just had his first catch a second ago. First catch in a couple of weeks, AJ. A guy that hasn't really been able to get as involved as he'd like to in the passing game. And an opportunity as he goes out wide to kind of find his place in this Ball State offense.
Samanza stands 5 yards back. Deep shotgun here on the right side hash. Moving left to right. It's a give into the backfield. This is TJ Horton with nowhere to go. He's bottled up. Call it a loss of about 2. As Miami just absolutely beat Ball State off the edge. Taryn Tayo and Kevin Meter both got turned around. The direction of the run play obviously headed to the right guard and right tackle when both are facing the wrong direction. Typically not going to turn out well for the offense.
And it certainly did not turn out well that time. That's the second time we've seen the ball go to TJ Horton. I'm surprised not to see a guy like Charlie Spiegel get a couple more carries over Horton as they'll bring no running backs in for this wide-out package.
Interesting look. There is one running back in. It's Braden Sloan, but he's lined up alongside the offensive line as a true pass blocker. Samanza motions him in, picks up the blitz. Good job. Throw deep. It's caught. Call it a gain of 15, so more intermediate, but it's a good move for Ball State, who's able to find Robinson. As Samanza did a good job taking his time there deep into the pocket and ultimately finding the open man.
And I think that's Justin Bowick who made the catch that time, wearing Robinson's number 2 over the last couple of weeks. Does a good job of curling just a yard or 2 beyond the sticks, make the catch for the first down.
First down, Caden Samanza goes deep down the field, wide open. That is Justin Bowick. Inside the 5-yard line, he's ripped down, but the damage was done. Samanza laser beams one over the top, and the junior from Powder Springs, Georgia, does the rest. He went off to the races, getting by Silas Walters. And the Cardinals will set up shop inside the 5. Call it 1st and goal to go.
Tanner Koziel comes across the field with an in route. It brings the safety down, and it's so easy. Just a slight skinny post over the middle of the field in between the 2 hash marks. Bowick makes himself available, and Samanza drops down the throw right into the perfect spot.
It's Kyle Kelly in the shotgun. He'll fake the give to Pemberton, wants to keep it himself. Not much room to go, and he is tackled, brought down by Malcolm McCain, the redshirt freshman. Was a 2-time team captain at Brookwood High School down in Georgia. Griffin. Ball State's offense stalled out in the red zone on their last possession. Now it's about trying to scheme something open here for first-year offensive coordinator Jared Elliott, who has actually done a really good job in the red zone, especially wearing the hat for the first time. Ball State has the most efficient red zone offense in the Mid-American Conference.
Efficient on the season, not so efficient so far today, settling for a field goal in the last drive, goal to go. They've got goal to go again here. Seems like Koziel's the target whenever Ball State's in the red zone. See if they find him here. He's on the left side of the O-line right now.
Ball State trails 14-10. Samanza looks to change that from the shotgun. Going to loft one to the back of the end zone over the head of Tanner Koziel, the intended target. It's hard to leave one high for a 6'7" tight end, but Samanza, you can tell that one just slipped out of his hands.
Well, and Samanza wanted Koziel in the back of the end zone coming across left to right, but that pass needed to be delivered at the perfect time. He took a half second too long. The corner who was set up on the S of the Cardinals in the end zone shifted over, and Samanza, I think, really had no choice but to elevate it to avoid an end zone pick.
3rd and goal for the Cardinals from about the 6.5. 5:22 to play in the second quarter. Samanza from the shotgun. Surveys his options, hits the open man around the 5 at Preston Daniel, but he's immediately brought down. So a minimal gain for the Cardinals, about a half yard. It'll trot out the field goal unit as Ball State will have to be content with cutting the lead down to 1 for Miami. Obviously, points always a good thing, but all things considered, that feels like a disappointing outcome yet again for Ball State, who's had 2 straight goal line situations come away with 3 points, really only potentially here, as long as Corville is able to find the middle of the uprights. Corville lines up his shot. It will officially be a 21-yard field goal. Snap is clean. Cooey Jr.'s hold is as well. The field goal is through the uprights, so Ball State now trails 14-13 behind the leg of Corville.
And going back to your point, it certainly will feel like a disappointment for the Cardinals, who, at least when that deep ball was caught by Bowick, it looked like he was going to score. Got tackled down on the end of the play, shoestring tackle to save a touchdown, and then the Red Hawks defense holds in the goal-to-go scenario once again. So the Cardinals lacking that final element. They've scored now twice from the field goal attempt, and they trail by 1 with 4.5 to go in the second.
And Rayon Strader deserves a lot of praise for what just happened there. He had his lone career interception at Ball State last year, just got his second interception in his career on the first drive today, and made that shoestring tackle you talked about to save a touchdown. Number 13, a guy who played in all 13 games last season as a true freshman, has been flying around the field. And what I like about this Miami of Ohio defense, they play with their hair on fire. This is a team that wants to impose their brand of football, their will on the opposition.
That's a really good point. They try to impose their will. They try to make the offense uncomfortable. And when they get beat, they don't give up until the play's over, because I think on a lot of other teams, especially here in the Mid-American Conference, if you complete a pass like that, it's a touchdown. It just is. And you have a Miami team who have shown that they can compete with the big guns, and it's because of plays like that, where you get beat over the top and you're not going to stop running until the referee puts his hands up for a touchdown, saves a touchdown, and saves 4 points in the end.
And in my eyes, that means there's a lot of credit due to defensive coordinator Bill Breakin, as this is a group that's clearly willing to play for their leader. This is a Miami of Ohio team that's looking to get back to 500 in the conference, boost themselves to 5-3. Stops like that, although they seem minuscule in the moment, can be the big difference maker in the grand scheme of things. It's Miami 14, Ball State 13 with 4:33 to go in the first half. I'm AJ Swiatek, joined by Griffin Leonard. We'll be back out of the break on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, Pay-Per-Go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
4:33 to go in the second quarter. Miami leads it 14-13, and they're ready to possess the football as Ball State drove down really on one big play to Justin Bowick. But ultimately couldn't put the cherry on top of the touchdown. They settled for 3, and that's how Miami will start on offense at the 25 after this one goes out of the back of the end zone. Call it a touchback.
It doesn't quite feel like an opportunity yet to have that 2-minute drill, that pedal to the metal offense, but it's getting pretty close for Miami, who received the opening kickoff. Ball State is going to get the football to start the second half. The Redhawks have an opportunity to, if not possess the ball for the rest of the first half, but at least give the Cardinals very minimal time to work with. And if Miami can add another score, then that would certainly complicate the talk in the halftime locker room for the Muncie group.
It'll be interesting to see the approach as Miami has looked to push the ball down the field early and often. No tailback, it is just Gabbard in the shotgun, who looks to push the ball downfield again. He goes that direction. There's a flag in the secondary at the Ball State 42. It will be pass interference more than likely here against Ty Baldwin, who was left one-on-one with Javon Tracy. Tracy had a step on him. Baldwin got handsy, and that's the first time we've seen Laundry hit the field. And that is exactly the call. You heard it from the officials first. Ty Baldwin signaled for the pass interference, and it will move the chains 15 yards in favor of Miami. So they now set up 1st and 10 from the Ball State, from their own 40-yard line, looking to get to Ball State territory. So now there is a running back to the right hip of Gabbard, who has 2 men out to his left, 2 to his right, set up on the far side hash, moving right to left. 4:28 to play in the second quarter. Miami on the road leads by 1, and they give up the middle to Mosey, who is brought down awkwardly. The pickup of 1 yard.
An impressive one-handed tackle that time, but I think that's Ben Marsh, the redshirt freshman from Hilliard, Ohio, on the far side that was blocked, but he was able to grab his right hand and avoid tugging on the face mask, avoid tugging on the shoulder strap, but able to make that tackle or at least impede the progress of Mosey enough for his teammates to come in and clean it up. Just a 1-yard rush that time from the runner.
He remains the halfback, and again it is to the right hip of Gabbard, who barks out orders to his receivers out wide, changes the play at the line. Now hard counts, goes on the second clap of his hands and wants to push the ball upfield. He does just that at the chains, breaking a tackle with the first down. Who else but Reggie Virgil?
Virgil has not slowed down. Ball State's defense still searching for answers to be able to solve this 6'4" mystery in Reggie Virgil, who makes another catch, moving the sticks again. Miami into Cardinal territory with 3 minutes and change left on the clock.
He broke tackles from both Eric McLean and George Udo outside the numbers. Was able to pick up the yardage necessary for a first down and then some. So now from the feathers of Charlie Cardinal at midfield, call it the Ball State 47. Miami OH on the side of the field that they'd prefer offensively. With just under 3 now to go in the second quarter. Gabbard feels the heat up the middle. Big defensive tackle. Big sack. Just storming through the gut of the defense. And in style is big Scott Hudson, the senior, able to gash his way in And Miami, Ohio will have to trot way back as Gabbert continued to roll backwards in the pocket. They move from Ball State's 47 to their own 44.
If there's one way to slow down an offense, it's to get pressure on the quarterback. The Cardinals had been unable to do that so far today. They get a big body in there, and Scott Hudson and the Carmel native finishes off Gabbert's second and very long.
Big play for him as well. Not a guy who sees lots of minutes, but just made the most of it. Here's a wide receiver screen with some room to run. Miami, Ohio schemed up the right play. 2nd and 19 will turn into 3rd and 4 after Ball State struggled to tackle Javon Tracy.
And Tracy able to really just completely undo the positive progress that Ball State had been able to establish on the defensive and the wide receiver screen. It's a lost art, AJ, and if done well, it can open up some real possibilities. Miami executed to perfection and set up 3rd and short.
That was a good time to call it. Ball State showed pressure. They brought it, so it meant a mismatch on the far side at the numbers as Tracy, a guy who's really good at running after the catch, showed why. He's a former 3-time captain at Decatur High School here in Indiana. This is a guy who had 6 catches for 70 yards last season when facing off against the Ball State Cardinals. Now on his way to another good performance with that grab. Griffin, it can't be overstated what Miami is doing right now, not only moving the football down the field, but chewing the clock. We're now at the 2-minute warning here in the first half, with Miami of Ohio with a 1-point lead and in possession of the football with 3rd and 3 on the docket.
Yeah, down to the 2-minute timeout for Miami as they continue to move down the field, and they've been able to keep this Ball State defense guessing, and that's been their biggest positive of this first half, because the execution on both sides of the ball between Ball State and Miami, the execution, the finish hasn't always been there. But for Miami, they've been able to make the small things work and set up the big plays. And that's really been the decider in the game so far. And we'll see if Miami can once again cap off the drive with a touchdown. They've been able to do so twice today.
The election still looms, the rain still pours, the offense is still roaring. It's the 2-minute timeout with Miami on top 14-13. We'll continue to cover what could be their final possession of the half next on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesuites.hamptonin.com. At munciesuites.hamptonin.com.
Hey, this is Ethan Crow, 5th-year center for Ball State football. You're listening to SportsLink Digital, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
The Red Hawks lead it on the road 14-13 with 2 to go in the first half. I'm AJ Swiatek saying thank you for choosing to spend your Tuesday, especially such a consequential one like this, in part with myself and Griffin Leonard from here in Muncie, Indiana. The 2-minute timeout slowly beginning to dwindle. That means Miami's offense will set up shop with a big-time 3rd and 3 in Ball State territory, directly at their 40. It's obviously too far back for field goal range with the way that the rain and wind have already influenced this one. Miami not afraid to show it. They are going to be passing here with a 5-wide look spread formation for Gabbert. It's in a 3-yard shotgun. Just takes a simple 1-step drop. It's a timing route, and he hits the open man, running after the catch free down to the Ball State 10. Who else on the yak but Javon Tracy? Now back-to-back big-time plays for number 11 with the football in his hand. He's shaking his head. He thought he could have taken that one to the house.
And it's another expert recognition early of the zone coverage presented by the Cardinals, and it's the experienced veteran Brett Gabbert able to find that seam route immediately. Ball State misses another tackle, and it's off to the races. This time, the defense able to win the race, but down to the 10-yard line go Miami, who are set up with 1st and goal.
George Udo ultimately made the tackle on the stripe, but Miami back into the red zone with 1:28 to go in the first half. Gabbert motions a man across, then right back over. That's Virgil, all just to give a handoff up the gut that may have a half yard for Keon Mosey, as the Redhawks are content with trying to run out the clock and make this the last possession of the half, especially with the Cardinals getting the ball out of the halftime intermission. Griffin, 2nd and 10 on the docket from the Ball State 10. So it is a 2nd and goal situation here for the Redhawks. They've done really good as of late when the ball has gotten into the hands of their playmakers on the outside in Tracy and Virgil. Do they go for a similar look here, maybe a slant over the middle?
Well, 2 receivers to the right and just the 1 secondary man on that side of the field for Ball State.
Pre-snap reads gone through by Gabbert. Snap is clean. He has plenty of time to throw. Surveys his options. Open over the middle of the field. Javon Tracy waltzes in for the touchdown. Miami of Ohio moving this offense with ease, and the wizard behind it all, Brett Gabbert, has another trick up his sleeve. Number 5 has looked sharp today. That's passing touchdown number 3. Points number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Call it 6 total for Miami of Ohio, who look to extend the lead now to 8 with 33 seconds to play. As the closest defender there, George Udo, never stood a chance. Tracy, again, slant over the middle, ran with the ball, and now the PAT ticks on another Griffin, make it 21-13 as Miami, Ohio's offense continues to surge.
Another answer met by the Redhawks that the Cardinals have not been able to find for their own, how to finish off a drive. The Redhawks go in for 6 for the 3rd time today. One thing I want answered from the Cardinals on that drive defensively is they have 3 timeouts still in their pocket. There was 1 minute and 14 seconds left when the Redhawks had the ball 1st and goal from the 10. They ran the ball for a yard. Cardinals elected not to call a timeout. 40 seconds ran off the clock, and then the Redhawks scored. So now the Cardinals only have 33 seconds to work with in trying to create a quick response instead of potentially having close to double that had they used one of their timeouts.
Well, the 2023 third-team All-MAC honoree gunslinger in Brett Gabbert did a really good job of orchestrating those seconds ticking off of the clock. He took his time, methodically moved down the field. Ball State, you mentioned it, opted not to burn the timeouts. Instead, they watched Gabbert get his 16th touchdown on the campaign. A guy who was the first ever true freshman to start the opener at Miami, Ohio, continues his storied career for the Redhawks as Ball State, in more than a 2-minute drill, they've got 33 seconds to give. But, partner, you and I were on the call last week. Ball State proved that they can score points in much less than half a minute, no?
True, but of course, it's a different sense of urgency, of course, AJ. You're down 8, but it's the end of the first half, not the second half. I think we'll see the Cardinals maybe go to the air once or twice, but it's a lot easier to concede and go to the half when you're facing another 30 minutes instead of another 30 seconds left in the game.
Mike New's team has to feel comfortable attacking the middle of the field. All 3 timeouts as number 3, Samanza, finds Koziel over the middle, just short of the first down. No, they'll say he has it, as he was able to outstretch the football beyond the chain. So it is a first down for Ball State. Pickup of 10 from Samanza to Koziel. 26 and ticking to play in the first half. Samanza again to the air, this time to the near side. Left it a little bit too short for Malcolm Gilly, who was running a comeback just before the sideline. And really, that makes you question if Ball State should have taken a timeout. That ultimately just runs 12 seconds off the clock. 2nd and 10 will be the look.
Yeah, run some time off the clock, and I don't necessarily think that throw is to blame for it, but it's another case of Caden Samanza having the inability to get that grip on the football. We've seen a couple times now where that pass has fluttered short as a result of the weather.
Well, after back-to-back looks with no one in the backfield, now Samanza does have Sloan to his right hip, but he's still passing. Samanza over the middle of the field, fires, and it's caught at the 45-yard line. It's Bowick again who goes down just beyond the first down marker. Ball State has now moved the chains twice. They'll call their first time out with 14 to play in the second quarter, trailing 21-13.
And still some time here, AJ, for the Cardinals to get 2 or 3 plays, depending on, of course, the results and whether or not they have to call timeout. 14 seconds, a lot of time. We've seen Jackson Corville expand his range just in the last game here at Schumann Stadium. They're going to want to get the ball ideally to the 30, maybe the 33, 34 for a shot at a long field goal to end the half, standing about 25 yards short of that at this current moment in time. But a couple of middle-of-the-field completions certainly shows they can get the ball there in 14 seconds.
Well, that it does, and Ball State with that now have picked up 10 first downs, both teams in the double digits. Miami has 11 first downs garnered. As with a mere 14 seconds on the clock here in the second quarter, Caden Simonza is going to have to work with some urgency. Both teams out of their huddles. No one in the backfield for Simonza. Braden Sloan picks up as a pass catcher. He slips out into the passing game, but instead it's delivered on a strike to Koziel over the middle. Was brought down at the beak of Charlie Cardinal with a gain of 9, so it will be 2nd and 1 with 8 seconds to go. Mike New uses his second timeout.
I think they'll end up giving him the first down upon further inspection of the spot. Either way, the timeout's called. As soon as New called that timeout, he was looking at both referees here on the near side, pointing up at the clock here on the scoreboard at Schumann Stadium. I think Coach Mike New wants an extra second. Of course, with one timeout in their pocket, still 8 seconds, plenty of time to work the ball downfield for another 10 yards to get into field goal range. But I love the ability of Tanner Koziel. We've talked about him all season. The ability to make plays over the middle of the field, the ability to catch the ball in traffic. Does it again sitting there. He made that curl route right at the sticks and sat there for a good 2 or 3 seconds before Simonza picked him up. It allowed the defender to make his way back to the ball, but Koziel, as he's done all year, able to hang on through contact.
Bit of a cliche, yes, but the big-bodied tight end truly is the young quarterback's best friend, as with 8 seconds to go in the first half, he's out there, lone man to the right of Simonza, who starts looking left, now surveys his options to the right. Out of the backfield, Vaughn Pemberton picks one up. No, rather, that's a Christian Abney reception on the wheel, regardless. Unless if the timeout was signaled with 1 second. Right now,
Please reset the game clock to 2 seconds. 2 seconds, please.
there you go. The clock had ran down to donuts, but 2 seconds are put back on the clock. The interesting decision now is from the Miami of Ohio 40. Do they try to up Jackson Corville's career long for back-to-back weeks, or is this a Hail Mary or potentially a lateral play situation?
So they sit on the 39 right now on the near hash. Jackson Corville hit from 52 at the end of last week's game. This would be 56 or 57. Corville's out there, and I think he wants it, but they're going to send the offense back out there, and it makes sense, especially with the weather. There's no wind right now, but the rain's coming down. It's a near impossible kick, and with the Cardinals down 8, you might as well take a shot at the end zone here at the end of the half.
It's exactly what they'll look to do. Simonza has some help in the pass blocking game. This is Pemberton in the backfield, as from the shotgun, Simonza rolls all the way back to the 50. He's just looking to heave one to the end zone, has to evade pressure, takes a shot. He's picked off at the 10, and Miami's going to try to run it the other direction. Simonza couldn't get the ball to the end zone. There's a flag that will fly. There's no more room to run, as Corbin Hondrew, the redshirt junior, gets an interception on a Hail Mary that never stood a chance. Simonza drilled as he released the football. It again slipped out of his palms, couldn't grip the laces. The interception was made at the 10, returned all the way to the 40. We'll see what the flag is, but ultimately it will likely be declined and send us to the half, regardless of who it was against.
Returning team, number 11. Penalties declined. That's the end of the first half.
And as you predicted, the end of the first half after that play, AJ, I think Caden Simonza, if he gets the chance to look back at that one, he'll want to get the ball out a little earlier. Gets hit from behind, but then again, it's a Hail Mary. How often are we going to see that? But the Cardinals come up short at the end of the half, and some work to do now, down 8. knowing they'll get the ball back at the start of the second.
Hey, I'll tell you, Mid-American Conference play, no stranger to the Hail Mary. Eastern Michigan got one as the time expired just this past week, then would lose on a 2-point conversion. But at the matter at hand, you're exactly right, Griffin. You have no chance of converting a Hail Mary if you don't get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. Samanza tried to do a little bit too much in the pocket to extend the play and create extra time. Ultimately, Ball State's 33 seconds of effort at the end of the half will end with 0 points. So Miami, Ohio leads it 21-13. I'm AJ Swiatek. I'll be back with coverage of the second half, but at the meantime, let the sweet tones hit your ears of Isaiah Rosner. He'll be taking my headset, talking to Griffin Leonard, and unpacking all of the first half. It's MOH 21, BSU 13 on Election Day from Muncie, Indiana. The rain comes down. The break is ringing in. It is Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
For the best stories, access, and coverage of Ball State sports, follow SportsLink on social media platforms Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Search @BSU SportsLink.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Your home for live Ball State sports, streaming right in your timeline.
This is Sports Link Digital.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
SportsLink is the official production partner of Ball State Athletics.
All the chirp you can handle.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pregame Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pregame Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
It's the SL Digital Halftime Report as we come to you live from Schumann Stadium. I'm Isaiah Rosner, and I'm joined by the analyst for this game, Griffin Leonard. Before we get to Griffin, let's go over a little bit about what happened in that first half with Miami of Ohio leading 21-13 at the break. Ball State's first drive Miami got it first actually and ended up punting followed by Ball State getting it back. Caden Samanza on one of his first pass plays threw an interception, still scoreless. Miami had a strong drive all the way down to the Ball State 42, and they ended up choosing to punt. And the punt was botched. The punter ended up throwing it as opposed to taking the tackle, and Brandon Berger able to return it all the way back for a touchdown, the play of the game. Miami then answered with a touchdown to tie it up at 7. Ball State with a field goal by Corville, 27-yarder, to make it 10-7. And then Miami with another touchdown, 14-10. Quite a bit of scoring in this first half. A lot of consecutive possessions resulting in scores. Ball State, Corville's 21-yard field goal good. That made it 14-13. Cardinals down by 1. But then Miami with a 7-play, 75-yard drive. Ate up 4 minutes off the clock, got it down to 33 seconds to go. A touchdown from Brett Gabbert to Javon Tracy. 10-yard touchdown. Miami is ahead 21-13. 3 touchdowns to 1, but Griffin, it's still a one-score game.
It's still a one-score game, and at least from the home side's perspective, it'll certainly feel frustrating, right? You had 2 drives that got down to the goal line, unable to get the ball into the end zone offensively in either of the first 2 quarters. They benefited, of course, from the interception return for a touchdown by Berger, but Samanza and company have not been able to crack the plane of the goal line quite yet for Ball State on the offensive side of the ball. So they find themselves down 8, and they find themselves facing a Miami offense that, after a relatively slow start, have really been borderline untouchable on the offensive side of the ball. Brett Gabbert has continued to pound the ball to Reggie Virgil over the air and has found him pass after pass after pass. He's ended up finding other options in Javon Tracy, who had the 3rd and final touchdown of the first half for the Red Hawks. It's been an impressive offensive performance from the Red Hawks, who lead by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and the Cardinals have to find that way to respond, and it has to come with an offensive touchdown.
Well, Griffin, I do want to go back to that first score of the game, an interception return for touchdown, pick 6 by Brandon Berger, 46-yarder, but that was one of the stranger ones that you will see. There have been so many bizarre plays this year for Ball State, I feel like, and that was yet another one where the punter mishandled the snap and ended up throwing a pick 6. What were your thoughts immediately on that play?
Well, it was a weird one, right? Because, of course, the weather, the initial cause of that play, because the snap being slippery, just unable to bring it in, was the Miami punter and Bevelheimer. But after that, you've got to just take the loss. If you can't get the punt out, you've got to just sit down and take the loss of 10 rather than throw the ball up and hope for a miracle, because there's no receivers down there. And at the end of the day, if you throw it up to no one, you're probably going to get intentional grounding anyway. So what's the point? And the ball ends up in the hands of Berger, and Ball State benefit that way, but you can't help but feel like it was a gift, and they haven't since been able to generate anything that they've earned.
Well, one of the strangest stats from that first half is Braden Sloan, just 1 carry for 7 yards, does not have a reception the entire game. It's a very bizarre stat line for me, and I just want to look a little bit about what they've been doing in the rushing attack. So Pemberton with the carry, Cam Pickett with the carry. The only players with more than a carry are Kyle Kelly with 5 for 8 yards and TJ Horton with 2 for 6 yards. So really just 11 carries, but 13 receptions, or I guess 18 pass plays, 11 carries for Ball State's offense. But how about Braden Sloan, who has been a workhorse running back most of this season, having another game where he hasn't done a whole lot?
And it's been interesting, right? We're not sure, obviously, if Braden Sloan picked up a knock or something on that first rush. But we haven't seen him get a touch since the first time he was given the ball early on in the first quarter. And it's a question that will have to be answered later on in the game. We're not sure if we're going to be able to get an update in real time. But for Ball State, they've had to find other options, and they've been successful until a certain point. We've seen the Cardinals time and time again drive down the field, but they haven't been able to get the ball into the end zone. So for Ball State, it's an opportunity now as we get toward the second half to try to answer that final question of how do you convert red zone opportunities into 6? How do you carve back into this game knowing that Miami's offense has been tough to stop, and the Cardinals, at least so far, just haven't had the answers?
Well, what is the answer? Because is it running the ball more? You're at 4.2 yards per carry if you're Ball State, so I have to wonder if we'll see more Braden Sloan, maybe some Von Pemberton, because that's strange too. If you see Braden Sloan out, you assume Pemberton's going to get more carries. He just has that one carry for 15 yards. He also has a catch for 6 yards. So I guess that's my question to you. What do you think Ball State will do to adjust on offense in the second half?
I think that we have to step away from the offense because the defense has been the issue. You look at the time of possession, and Ball State just hasn't had time on the football like they would want to get into a standard repetition, get comfortable on offense, and build up certain drives. They've had to go aggressive late in the half trying to pass the ball down the field. We've seen Samanza have to deal with the brunt of the work, and he's thrown the ball 18 times already in the first half for 150 yards. That's a good game, or at least a good half. He's on track for up over 300, but he's been called upon because they've had to go to those passing plays. They've relied on Kyle Kelly a lot in the rushing game. He has 5 of the 11 rushing attempts from Ball State offensively, and they will look to hopefully get their traditional running backs into the game a little bit more here in the second half.
Well, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will get you all set for half number 2. This is halftime here at Schumann Stadium. Ball State trails the Miami Redhawks 21-13. This is SportsLink Digital Radio presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
Hey, this is Ty Robinson, redshirt junior wide receiver for Ball State football. You're listening to SportsLink Digital presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
It's halftime here at Schumann Stadium where Ball State trails the Miami Redhawks 21-13 in the Redbird Rivalry here in this midweek Maction affair. Going over some stats of that first half with Ball State trailing by 8, the time of possession has been very curious because the Cardinals have been one of the better teams in the country in terms of time of possession. They've week in, week out dominated that category, and yet here you have a fellow MAC opponent, and your time of possession is very close. And in fact, Miami leads it 16-14 exactly. Do you think that's concerning, Griffin, that Ball State hasn't really found that aspect of their game?
I think it's interesting when you think about that number, because when you think back to the first half and you think about the time that these two teams had on the ball, it almost feels like that Miami had the ball for a lot more than 16 minutes, but it was the pace of the play that they brought the ball down the field, consistently converting on first downs, getting those slight clock stoppages. They've controlled the tempo of play, even if they haven't necessarily controlled the amount of clock that they've had with the ball. And I think that it is fair to say that the Cardinals should have more than what they've gotten. When you take away the defensive touchdown, they've had 6 points off of 14 minutes on the ball with close to 200 total yards so far. So then the question becomes, where do you find those points if you're not getting them with, at least based on where the stats fall, a pretty solid first half?
Well, going over some stats in that first half, Ball State passing cadence, Monza 13 for 18 for 154 yards, but 2 interceptions. Of course, the one was just that last Hail Mary at the end, not really needed to be counted against him. For Miami, Brett Gabbard, 11 for 17, 183 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So clearly the advantage for Gabbard so far in the QB battle. I feel like Simon's had a few inaccurate throws, but still 13 for 18, not bad at all for these conditions. That said, what can he do to improve in that second half?
Well, Simons has done nothing but impress in his redshirt freshman campaign for Ball State. There's so much expectation and so much pressure being put on this young quarterback as he continues to figure out how to adapt and play in an NCAA Division I environment. And the response that we've gotten from him, really only one quote-unquote bad game this season that he's had. It's been a really impressive freshman campaign. Of course, as you mentioned, 2 interceptions, so what? The first one, yes, it was a mistake. The second one was a Hail Mary, throw it out the window. Caden Samanza has had a good game. He has not had the rushing to back him up and give him opportunity to really just have the element of surprise, I think is the best way to put it. Because when Samanza's been called on to consistently go to the air, Miami's been able to deep drop into coverage. Samanza's had his completions, but the majority of them have been for 10 or less yards. He hasn't been able to push the ball downfield besides the one deep ball to Bowick, and we just haven't seen the Cardinals be able to go aggressive down the field yet because they haven't been able to establish that run game and force Miami to keep the pressure in tight.
That's got to be one of the most curious stats from the first half, along with the time of possession, is that neither team has figured out the running game, especially in a time when you would expect, with the rain and the wind, for that to be the case. Well, 21-13 is our score at halftime. The Redhawks lead the Ball State Cardinals here at Schumann Stadium. AJ Swiatek will have third quarter play-by-play next. This is SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pridemart Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pridemart Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
You're listening to Ball State Football, streaming live with SportsLink Digital.
Now back to the stadium.
Well, Isaiah the Rosner took you through the majority of halftime. That means, unfortunately, you've got to listen to me for the rest of the way. I'm AJ Swiatek, joined by who else but the great PvP, Griffin Leonard. It's a 21-13 ball game. You just heard all the breakdowns. Griffin, yourself and Isaiah did a stand-up job. I think a really interesting point, however, that I'd really like to touch on that I think really needs to be harped on is how well-oiled of a machine this Miami, Ohio Redhawks offense has looked. They're a team that's been driven by their defense to this point all season long, but now the redshirt senior Brett Gabbert has taken matters into his own hands. Done with the run-first ways of this offense, he's pumped his touchdowns from 13 to 16 on the year in a mere half. And Griffin, Brett Gabbert has had his way with this Ball State defense.
Well, and we talked about it a little bit of just how Reggie Virgil has been so dynamic, been such a major part of this Miami offense all season, but has exploded today. It's been so impressive to watch him constantly find his way down the field. But after that second touchdown, we didn't see him get available any further times down the field. He hasn't had a catch in the last 10 minutes of game time, still stuck at a terrible 101 yards on 5 catches, of course. But Miami hasn't faltered, even if Virgil hasn't been as involved. He's found Gabbert has found other targets. They've been able to go back to the run game after a slow start from Kevon Mosey. He's been able to crank it up a little bit, a 25-yard run, give him 54 for the half, or 53 rather, on 10 carries. it's an impressive Miami of Ohio offense. It's one of the best in the conference, if not the mid-major landscape. They're kicking the ball off to the Cardinals to start the second half, but once they get back on the ball, it's going to be interesting to see how the Cardinals defense has morphed in the 20 minutes in the locker room.
You're exactly right. Left to right is the direction of this kickoff. It's ready to be sent away from Kellen McLaughlin. From a Miami, Ohio team leading 21-13, wearing their white jerseys with red numbers, red pants, and red helmets. Ball State will opt to return things as being brought down around the 22-yard line with two different flags on the play. The man who is back there deep, again, it is Malcolm Gilley. Brought down at the 22, Griffin. Typically flags when they're thrown, not going to bode well here for Ball State, but we'll see if there's an exception as we wait for the official signal.
Holding, number 18, the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
So it is a holding on Ball State that will back them up even further into their own territory. It will still be a first down and 10, but they have to set up inside their own 15. Call it the Ball State 13, where the first drive of the second half will set up shop as Caden Simonzo will work from the shotgun. He immediately identifies the will linebacker, and from the far hash, he takes and gives up the middle to Pemberton, who won't find much room to work, maybe a pickup of a half yard.
Well, and that's part of it right there as to why Ball State haven't gone to the run as much. We talked about it early on in tonight's contest that Miami's run defense has been stellar over the course of this season. The Cardinals just haven't gone to it much because outside of a couple select situations, there just haven't really been the situations with the defensive formation of Miami and the personnel on the field for the Ball State Cardinals where the coaching staff feels like they can adequately attack Miami's rushing game. They're going back to the air frequently, and we'll see if they go back to the air here.
Well, here's an interesting personnel. Koziel checks out for the bigger Farrell. You'd expect it to be a running play, but first things are whistle dead. Ball State's going to take a timeout as there was some pre-snap confusion for an offense that only saw one snap before having to burn a timeout after holding on to all three with under half a minute to go in the first half. The first one out of Mike New's pocket early, and he's visibly frustrated with his offense. Just ripped the headset from his ears.
And I don't blame Mike New at all. It's so frustrating as an offense when you have to call a timeout early in the second half, especially looking up at the scoreboard on the south end of the stadium, knowing you're down 8 against a good Miami team, not saying that you know you're going to be losing at the end, but that you know is probably going to be a game that you're going to want your timeouts for one reason or another, have to burn one here early, and those 40 seconds could be vital come crunch time.
So it's 14:08 to go in the third quarter. 2nd and 9, empty backfield. Simonza changes everything. Everyone in motion, so now there is a man in the backfield. In motion across, it will be a give to Pickett off of that motion on a little pop pass, who won't have much going to it on the far side. Ultimately plays a little bit of hopscotch out of bounds, picking up about 2.
Well, and just as Ball State made an offensive correction, Miami responded. They packed the box, 3 linebackers on top of 4 standing on the line, and that left side linebacker does a good job of reading the play, not necessarily banking on the rush around the edge, but taking a step or two to his left to be able to generate momentum, able to force Pickett to the sideline where the cornerbacks were able to make the tackle on the end of the play.
Miami didn't lose sense of their assignments. Ty Wise was ultimately the one to push Pickett out of bounds. So it's 3rd down and long for Simonza, who will have to go to his check down, and looking to get a little bit creative is Braden Sloan. We'll see if he did enough. He did, so that's a big-time play for 14, who picks it all up after the catch from the right side of the backfield on a little swing pass, able to swivel his way into the secondary and push the chains forward. So Ball State right back to where their drive would have started without the holding penalty. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 25 with 12:55 and ticking to go in the third quarter. Simonza will set up again in the shotgun. Pemberton behind him about 2 yards. That's who gets the give. And immediately met by the defense as getting in quickly busting through the middle there were a couple of Redhawks. He never stood a chance.
Well, I want to go back to that third down play because Caden Samanza did an excellent job of stepping up in the pocket. Pressure came around both the left and right edges. Samanza takes a step up, almost got hit on the blind side, but delivers just a touch pass to his left to Sloan, who makes it work for the first down. That's a veteran move from a freshman quarterback, and the comfortability he's found in the pocket, I think, has been the thing I've been impressed with most in Mid-American Conference play.
Good maneuverability. So after Eli Blakey is credited with another tackle, Ball State will go back to the air on a little wide receiver screen. Samanza immediately gunned it to the far side, right back into the hands of Cam Pickett. So both teams now finding their wideout they prefer in running after the catch situations. For the side of Ball State, it's Cam Pickett, and rightfully so, a guy who didn't play last year due to redshirting from Chicago, Illinois, a former three-star, puts it on display there. Picks up another first down for Ball State. Call it 1st and 10 from their own 35 here in quarter number 3. Ball State trails at 21-13. Motioning all the way across is Malcolm Gilly from right to left. Samanza fakes the give. Now he's going to try to throw deep. Clobbered as he does such and puts a little bit too much under it. Samanza just took a big-time hit from his blind side as Damon Kaler missed his assignment. Wanted to hit Justin Bowick. And not only was the throw left too long, Samanza a little bit shaken up, but he will get to his feet and ultimately stay on the field.
Yeah, Samanza looks all right after that big hit. He had Bowick, but the safety did a good job of getting there first, slowing down the run of Bowick, who I think that throw would have had to be to the near sideline to even give his receiver a chance. It's overthrown at the big hit and incomplete.
Pickett again in motion. It's a fake to him and a give to Pemberton, who runs the HB counter about as good as you can for a run of 5. There wasn't much room to work there, but slicing through the A-gap goes number 23, the redshirt junior, able to find any hole he can and make it a 3rd down and 5 from the Ball State 40.
And there's the creativity in the play call, right, AJ? Because you have Cam Pickett, who's touched the ball 4 times now. Looked like he was going to have his 5th on the end around. Instead, they go up to Pemberton, who, with that misdirection, with the change of personnel defensively, able to snag forward for 5 yards and set up a manageable 3rd and 5.
10:44 to go. Samanza from the shotgun goes to his first option. Bowick, who is hit, and it's ripped out before he can come down with possession. It was a quick-hitting slant. Samanza immediately hit the 3rd step of his drop. It hit Bowick on the numbers, but it was a good job forcing the incompletion from William Hardrick, a redshirt junior transfer, who recorded a career-high 5 tackles and a forced fumble in the Cure Bowl versus Appalachian State last year. Again, elevates his play to the moment. Ball State now 2 for 6 on 3rd down on the evening. That'll trot out Brian Cooey Jr. in the punting unit for the Cardinals, who send an end-over-end punt that is fair caught at the 19. So Miami, Ohio will set up their offense when we are back. They've scored on 3 different passing occasions from Brett Gabbard. He'll look to continue to add to his monster day. It'll be 10:33 and counting on the clock next on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least 1 Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pregame Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pridemark Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
SportsLink is the official production partner of Ball State Athletics.
All the chirp you can handle.
Chirp you can handle indeed. I don't know how Evan Stowell's hanging in there with all the rain on the sideline. It's slowly looking like it may falter a bit, but I don't want to jinx it for our buddy down there patrolling the green turf. Ball State trailing 21-13. 7 of those 13 points came on a pick six on an interception thrown by Miami's punter to Brandon Berger back in the first half. So with 10:33 to go, fresh off of a Ball State punt, Miami, Ohio sets up at their own 19, ready to get things rolling. Ball State shows a 4-man front. They'll bring that pressure with a QB spy in Newsom. 4 men able to get home, but somehow evading it is Gabbard. He'll keep it himself and tuck and run. Number 5, sneaky elusive. He's down at his own 40. Call it a run of 20 yards. And a big one for number 5, who just turned a loss of 11 into a pickup of 20, evading the sack from both Brandon Berger and Riley Tolsma.
And that's a huge block on that play to add to it. Christian McKinney lining up as that fullback comes through and makes a huge block about 10 yards down the field. Really sets up the run for Gabbard, who's able to race down the sideline across the 35.
He sidestepped out on that far sideline. Miami looks to add to their 8-point lead. To give up the middle in search of Such. Mosey unable to shake the initial tackle. Good job wrapping up by Nathan Reichert. So it'll be about a 1-yard pickup for the lone tailback, Mosey, who's been getting lots of action both as a pass blocker, pass catcher, and obviously a rusher.
Impressive tackle that time on first down. Nathan Reichert coming in there, getting pushed back, almost losing that battle in the trenches, falling backward, but able to wrap up and take down Mosey for just a gain of about 1.5 yards as the senior comes through. Not listed as a starter, but getting a lot of reps there in the middle of the D-line.
So it's a 2nd and 8. Miami has it at their own 40 with 9:07 to go and an 8-point lead in their pocket here in the third. Good throw? No, it actually is a bit high for Reggie Virgil, who had his hand set up as if it was going to hit him in the chest for a pickup of about 15 outside the far numbers. He was at the 45, had to jump up to try to get to it, and the ball just continued to sail over number 0's head, who, after starting off with 101 quick yards with over half of the second quarter remaining, has been quiet since as he looks to tap into the same page as Gabbard.
Although I will mention that's Eric McLean again, getting beat on that route, having to guard the ever so elusive Reggie Virgil, nearly getting beat again, but the curl route sails high.
9:02 with the clock stopped. 3rd down and 8, a long 8 at that, as it's a sidearm delivery on the money, but it's broken up. Perfect throw, even better coverage. He tried to fit it into Javon Tracy as Brett Gabbard changed up the arm slot, decided to fire it like a shortstop. Put it where only his guy could get it, but it was just a better defensive effort by, you mentioned it, Eric McLean.
McLean answering the bell. Maybe he heard me up here. He had pressure come around the left edge. It made Gabbard have to throw it in a hurry. Went sidearm, and the pass was a little behind a new target in Javon Tracy.
It was Newsome with the pressure. This ultimately forces a punt that lands in Ball State territory and takes a Ball State backspinning hop. Landed at the 25, ultimately downed at the 30. That is where the offense for the Cardinals will take over, sporting their all-black uniforms. It's a 21-13 Miami, Ohio lead. Griffin, Ball State will need to get the offense rolling behind Caden Samanza here to try to crawl back into the grasp of this one.
They absolutely will, but I'll tell you one thing. We talked about it right as the second half was beginning. The biggest question on Ball State versus Miami on the defensive end for the Cardinals, could they get the stop they were looking for once Miami touched the ball for the first time this half? The answer was yes. After a big first down play on the first play of the drive, the Cardinals responded, got the punt they were looking for. Now they set up shop 70 yards from the end zone, a chance to go down and tie the game if they can find the touchdown they've been looking for.
History currently being written across the country. Ball State looks to get one step closer to bowl eligibility and make some noise in history of their own. The 3-5 Cardinals trail the visiting 4-3 Redhawks by a score of 21-13. But there's 8:49 to go in the third quarter, and Ball State's offense will be out when we're back on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pridemart Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pridemart Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
Indiana's top sports media school in 2024 by the Indiana Association of School Broadcasters.
This is Ball State Sports Link.
I'm AJ Swiatek saying thank you for choosing to spend your Tuesday, November the 5th with myself and Griffin Leonard here from Schumann Stadium in Muncie, Indiana. It's Ball State's offense taking the field out of the break. 8:49 on the clock. They trail by 8 here in the third quarter. As Samanza and company look to get something cooking, it's an offense that has put up a mere 6 points through a pair of field goals to this point in the contest. Lone touchdown came from the pick 6 from Brandon Berger. So now Ball State's offense looks to take matters into their own hands. Samanza will be in the pony package. The best formation in football as it stands currently with Sloan and Pemberton to either side. It will be a design to roll out for Samanza. Play drawn up perfectly. He has Bowick for a first down as he has wrestled down exactly at the 45 on the numbers here on the near side of the field.
Well, you mentioned it. Design rollout left for the quarterback in Samanza. Luke Evans is the cornerback on the near side of the field. He's got to do a better job sitting there in the flat with zone coverage. He's watching the quarterback, watching the read. He's got to know that Bowick's that option up front, and instead late to get to the ball, first down.
Back to a more conventional package. Samanza wants Bowick, lets it go early. The two weren't on the same page. Number 3 saw an opening in the defense, wanted Bowick just to sit in it, but Bowick continued to run his out route, so it was ultimately a bullet pass left behind him. That will bring upon 2nd and 10 from Ball State's own 45.
Well, it's early pressure off the edge by the junior from Crestwood, Illinois, in Brian Ugu, and it forces a quick throw. Bowick just, he didn't have his head turn in time.
Tight formation for the Cardinals. No one out very wide. They won't ask much of Samanza. Just to push it to Koziel, who has it broken up It's a rare time. Number 88 can't come down with one-on-one with a corner. What a play from Rayon Strader, who's been far and away the best player on the field for this Miami, Ohio defense today.
Yeah, Strader came through, and you almost had to pray for him for a second there because normally a throw like that, you call it a hospital pass for the receiver, but that was a collision that was just narrowly avoided between Strader and Koziel, and I don't think that would have ended well for either of them, but they avoid it, third down.
Koziel impeded his will. Now he will motion out of the backfield, so 2 back there is another pony package for the Cardinals. 3rd and 10. Samanza lets it rip down the sideline. He's got Bowick behind the defense. Number 2 all the way for a touchdown. Breaks tackles on the way and does a boogie down the sideline. He beat Rayon Strader. And Justin Bowick has his Cardinals a 2-point conversion away from tying things at home in some midweek action at its finest.
Just a simple vertical route that time by Bowick. Beat him on the near sideline on the hash marks in front of the Ball State bench. Rayon Strader is down on a knee. I think he was perhaps a bit shaken up after that collision with Koziel because as soon as he hit the turf after being beat on that route, he was down for about 15 seconds, walked back over to the play for the 2-point conversion, and he's down with his right knee on the grass. Tough couple of moments for the sophomore out of Pennsylvania, and you got to hope he's all right after being targeted and being put to the test the last couple of plays defensively.
Of course, you have to hope Rayon Strader is okay. He's got the interception in this one. For this Red Hawks defense, it's really been a cornerstone on the right side, but there really can't ask for a better ball from Samanza. It's exactly how it's taught. He gets to the back of his drop and just let it rip. He trusted his guy to win one-on-one. It's exactly what Bowick did as the 2024 preseason All-MAC 4th-team member who has missed time with that kidney laceration. Scary situation he had to go through early on here in the season. Really coming alive as the games continue to go by across the calendar. And Samanza just perfectly put it into his breadbasket over the shoulders on the near side. The rest was really Bowick as he outran the defense, broke a tackle on the way, and wheeled his way to 6 points. So now with Miami leading at 21-19 with 8:01 to go in the third quarter, Ball State will bring out Kyle Kelly to try to tie the contest. Samanza's on the sideline. The QB1 can do nothing but watch on in an unconventional look as the backup is in the shotgun. Typically a running situation for Kelly, but he'll motion to the side. It's a direct snap. Oh, my goodness. Look at this play. 2 different picks, and it goes to Pickett. Kyle Kelly motion to the left. Direct snap to Vaughn Pemberton, who gives to Kelly, who then flips to Pickett running from right to left, and he had a full head of steam to sneak into the end zone. We're tied up at 21.
We talked earlier in the broadcast about one game ago against Northern Illinois, the creativity in the play call to open up opportunities, open up space for Ball State to find the big play. That is Ball State football at its finest. It could not have been drawn up or executed any better as Cam Pickett, he just had to run forward. There was nothing, no one to avoid, no one to sidestep on his way into the end zone. And the Cardinals, not only do they find their offensive touchdown they've been looking for, they find their way to tie the game, and all the pressure shifts to the east end of the stadium, to Miami of Ohio, who will head out trying to grab the lead back.
And the reason all that pressure is cooking on that sideline, I mean, what a play call from Jared Elliott, who set motion as if it would be a Philly special-esque play, had Kyle Kelly initially in the shotgun. Then he motioned to his left for a direct snap to the then tailback about 7 yards deep into the backfield in Vaughn Pemberton, who took the direct snap, pitched it over to Kelly, running to the right side of the field. He then flicked it backwards to Cam Pickett, who against a stacked box, as you mentioned, had so much green room in front of him, he could have walked into the end zone. It was all generated by a Caden Samanza deep bomb to Justin Bowick. Just like that, we are deadlocked back up. It's 21 apiece with 8:01 to play in the third quarter from Muncie, Indiana. You're listening to Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Behind a big-time touchdown to Justin Bowick and a couple of points on the two-point try after, Ball State has turned a 21-13 contest into 21-21. For more on how special this is and what it means to Bowick, let's send it down to the third member of our crew who's been a trooper on the sidelines all night long. Hey, Evan.
Yeah, AJ, good to be down here. It's drying off just a little bit, but on that last touchdown pass from Samanza to Justin Bowick, that was Justin Bowick's first touchdown of the season. He had 8 for EIU in his previous 2 seasons playing for Eastern Illinois, but that's his first one in a Ball State uniform, and he's wearing a new uniform as well. Originally, he was slated to wear the number 1 jersey this season. He changed his jersey to number 2 in order to honor Ty Robinson, who was hurt the first game of the season.
Awesome stuff from an awesome guy. Both talking about Evan and Justin Bowick, just who picked up the first touchdown of his Ball State career. He hopes it's the first of many. It's 21 apiece with 8:01 to play. Ball State ready to kick off of the tee from right to left as the man back there for the Red Hawks is Kevin Davis. Look to get things going in the return game. Corville, fresh off of not hearing his number called on Ball State's 2-point try. Gives it a boot off of the neon green tee, sends in, and this will be returnable for Miami, Ohio. Initial contact made at the 22, brought down just beyond the 25. Call it the 26-yard line. Was Kevin Davis. He's averaging 17.2 yards per return this season. The senior from Jackson, Illinois, will have his team setting up right around where they would if there was a touchback.
Well, the away support here from Oxford, Ohio. Tough to tell looking out there which fans in red are rooting for Ball State and which fans in red are rooting for Miami, but they're going to be cheering on their Red Hawks here, finally concede the offensive touchdown and trying to grab the lead back here in the third.
Ball State shows 4 men up front. There's 2 men to either side of Gabbard as he'll opt to go to the lone man in the backfield despite the spread. Look. Running into the teeth of the defense is Keon Mosey. Call it a gain of 3. So after the ball was ultimately respotted off of the kickoff to the 25, the 3-yard pickup, will have Miami, Ohio squarely at their own 28 with a 2nd and 7 inbound. Ball State making a late substitution. So they'll send Nathan Reichert to the sideline. Favor of another 3-tech up the middle. Exact same formation for Miami of Ohio, this time from the near hash. 2 receivers to either side, fake the give up the middle to Mosey. Deep ball, Gabbard, far sideline, nearly intercepted. He forced his receiver to play defense out there as D.D. Snyder was in on the coverage. And ultimately, Ty Baldwin got the pass breakup. He's the one who does the seatbelt celebration, reminding the fans that he's got the receiver on lock. That was nearly intercepted.
It so nearly was. They went back to that slot fade that Miami found success with in the first half. But that time, Ty Baldwin the whole way down the field playing hand fighting, keeps it legal without pass interference and keeps his body in the position to nearly make that interception.
Again, 2 men to either side of the formation for Miami of Ohio. They've got wide receivers 1 through 4 out there. Opt to have Mosey pass block. Taking off with it is Gabbard, who will scamper, but not for enough, as on 3rd down and 7, it will turn into 4th down and 2 on the 5-yard pickup from number 5, who is brought down at his own 33-yard line. With 4th and 2 looming, Miami will bring out their punting unit.
Brandon Berger, who's had a huge game on the defensive side of the ball, once again stepping up huge. Came in initially as a blitzing option, backed out as the spy, and able to grab and take down Gabbert just a couple yards shy of the line to gain.
Punt operation clean for Miami of Ohio. Hops inside Ball State's 20. The 8th punt to do such on the year for Bevelheimer. As it settles out and stalls around the Ball State 14, which is where the offense will take over. Samanza's last attempt, a great one.
Not too shabby.
The deep ball down the sideline put perfectly on Bowick's numbers. Now we'll see how he builds off of it after his coaching staff opted to go with Kyle Kelly on the 2-point try that was successful. Ball State outscoring the opposition 8-0 in the second half. They look to add to it, starting with a give up the gut that will pick up about 3.
Cardinals favoring the run game on first down. We had talked about Virgil's impact on this game. Reggie Virgil with 101 yards. Bowick said, hey, I can do a little better than that, and he's up to 5 receptions for 150 yards after that 57-yard touchdown for the Cardinals.
Sloan officially credited with 3 on the give. Ball State goes to 20 personnel, also known as the pony package. A man to either hip of Samanza. He'll fake the give to Pemberton and keep it himself. That's actually Kyle Kelly back there, who on the keeper winds up picking up about another 3 as Ball State's offense stays on schedule. This is a 3rd and very manageable. We'll see which quarterback Mike New opts to entrust in a big 3rd down spot.
It's really interesting looking at the rushing stats for Ball State because we talked about how they haven't utilized the run game nearly as much here. Kyle Kelly continues to lead the Cardinals in rushing with 6 for 12 yards, Pemberton 4 for 23, but Pemberton and Sloan combined as the 2 traditional running backs have gotten the ball the exact same amount of carries as the backup quarterback does for Ball State.
It's 3rd and 3 from the shotgun. They will go with the handoff. That's been a topic of discussion across football recently. When the give up the middle comes from the shotgun, well, this time Mike New questions logistics and does such rationally as Ball State is able to pick up the first down right up the middle, putting his head down, lowering the shoulder, and pushing through was Braden Sloan. So with 4:32 to go, the clock will continue to run. Fresh set of downs for Ball State, who will have a 1st and 10 and call it their own 27. With Sloan continuing to stay in the game, now in 13 personnel. There's 3 tight ends out there as Samanzo throws to his lone wideout in the formation, Justin Bowick, who goes down on the far side on a quick out hitter. Nice quick hitter to get Samanza back into the pace and flow of this game for about 4 yards.
Yeah, with the heavy package, Miami brought a couple of bodies in the direction of the quarterback. Samanza had remarkably long to throw that football. I think he thought he was going to get pressured a little bit quicker, threw that ball in a hurry, and ended up behind Bowick, who went to the ground to make the catch.
You can't tell me this doesn't feel like a Ball State game. This is a team who has had 7 of their last 8 conference games decided by 3 points or less. They're deadlocked at 21 apiece with 3:40 to play in the 3rd. Samanza back to pass again. Another quick hitter, this time to the outside. Cam Pickett does a wonderful job to really control his body there and make a spinning grab. It is short of the yard to gain marker. There will be another 3rd and short, this time 3rd and 2. We'll see if they want the ball in Samanza's hands. He signals for no huddle. It's a quick look. Samanza gives up the middle, must have seen something, but I'll tell you, he saw it wrong. Vaughn Pemberton loses 3.
Yeah, Pemberton slammed immediately. Looked like the read option for Samanza. We see Caden get going with his wheels every so often, but that time I think it would have been the better option to keep it. The quarterback hands it off, and Cooey Jr. comes on to punt.
So Ball State will give this explosive Miami offense another chance to break the tie. As with either side at 21 apiece, and the rain continuing to come down on this election day, the clock strikes 10:25 p.m. Eastern. The game clock now down below 2:40 in the 3rd. As Cooey Jr. sends the punt away. It'll bounce at around the 24, then is fielded by Kevin Davis, who breaks the initial tackle but doesn't have much going after the fact, as Ball State and Jack Beebe are able to bring him down here at the 23, but there's a flag on the near sideline.
Yeah, there was some extracurricular all the way through the kicking net, normally occupied by Jackson Corville, but on this particular circumstance being occupied by Ambe Caldwell and Eric McLean. We'll see what the call is.
Personal foul, late hit. Ball State, number 15. 15-yard penalty from the end of the return. Automatic first down.
And that's a big mistake from Eric McLean, the freshman. Just really an irresponsible play that he will definitely have to be hearing about in this week's film review.
But I am curious as to the nature of the call, because number 19 in Caldwell was not the ball carrier. The tackle was made inbounds, well, rather an inch out of bounds at the 23-yard line by Jack Beebe. But this hit was 7 or 8 yards inside the sideline, back behind the Ball State bench. Interesting call, but the 15 yards goes against the Cardinals.
Regardless, it's 1st and 10 at the Miami, Ohio 38, where they get their offense going. It's a quick tackle from Keontae Newsome on a give up the middle. Trying to spring it to the left side was Keon Mosey, but he moved laterally with no north to south vision, and it will ultimately be a gain of 0. He was just brought down at the line by number 9.
And that's the response Ball State needs after the penalty, right? Because you give up 15 yards. 1st and 10, Miami trying to establish the run game early on in the drive. The Cardinals able to plant it in its tracks.
Another shotgun look for Gabbard. He has 2 receivers on the near side, 2 on the far. 1 man in the backfield is Mosey. To the left hip of the quarterback. Motions a step closer as Gabbard's hard count doesn't fool anybody. It's a give to Mosey, who's able to hit the hole and is brought down after a gain of about 5. But he showed some nice burst there to get upfield.
Looked like on the right guard position, it looked like Colby Borders got away with a little bit of a hold on Drew Hughes as the runner sneaking through the offense past the 40, a little bit of a tug of the left shoulder pad. And the Lafayette native Borders gets away with what could have been a 10-yarder.
Newsome ultimately made the tackle, so it will be 3rd down and 5 at Miami's own 43-yard line with just under a minute to play in the third quarter. Call it 57 and running to be exact. Gabbard looks to bleed this clock down. He'd need a pickup to do such. Big time opportunity for Miami's offense. They'll call timeout, signaled by the quarterback who didn't like what he saw up front.
So both teams burn a timeout here in the third quarter. And that one at least makes a little more sense given it's a big 3rd down. It feels like one of those game-shifting, momentum-shifting plays here, AJ, with 47 seconds to go in the third quarter and the ball right about midfield. Miami has the opportunity here to extend the drive to make the Cardinals continue to work all the way down to the end of the third quarter versus Ball State, who had a good drive going, ended up having to punt. They want to get off the field right here and now. It just feels like one of those plays, AJ, where the tide just shifts.
You're exactly right, and I don't mind that timeout from Brett Gabbard. That's a vote of confidence in a guy who clearly feels like he knows this system enough that when he doesn't like the play call, he sees at the line of scrimmage and the biggest play of the game to this point, he's comfortable calling timeout and resetting things. Is exactly what's done. There's trips to the left, man going across. The formation is Tracy, so it's now 2 on either side. From the shotgun, quick feet, bad feet work, but it's still able to be complete. That's one Gabbard won't like watching on film. Wasn't the perfect throw, but he does find Javon Tracy, as number 5 had happy feet in the pocket, didn't really have a true 3-step drop, but still was able to find number 11, who rumbled after the catch for a 1st down to the midfield mark.
Yeah, he was dancing in the pocket, able to find his target, Javon Tracy, at the last possible moment before he would have been hit. He almost looked scared in the pocket of the pressure that was converging around him, but they get the ball out to midfield, move the chains, and now they can take a break and regroup at the end of the third quarter, but it feels like the momentum shifts into the Red Hawks' direction.
That's exactly what they'll opt to do. Miami lets the clock run all the way down. So that means that we have played 45 minutes of midweek action, and there's 15 to go to crown a victor of this rendition of the Redbird Rivalry. Can Ball State beat Miami of Ohio for the first time since 2019, or will the Redhawks come in and play spoiler on the road? Only 1 quarter of time to tell. I'm AJ Swiatek, joined by Griffin Leonard. We'll be back with coverage of the final frame next on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least 1 Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pregame Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pregame Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesuites.hamptonin.com. At munciesuites.hamptonin.com.
Hey, this is Ty Robinson, redshirt junior wide receiver for Ball State football. You're listening to SportsLink Digital, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
3/4 of Mid-American Conference football have come and gone on this rainy day from Muncie, Indiana. I'm AJ Swiatek, joined by Griffin Leonard. We're all tied up at 21s with the fourth quarter just about ready to get underway. Miami, Ohio driving. They just picked up the big-time third down to move the chains and will have the ball at the 50. Griffin, it's about capitalizing on this opportunity for a Miami offense that hasn't scored yet in the second half.
They haven't scored yet in the second half, and they had struggled to convert on third down. They were 1 for 3 on third downs in the third quarter, and the one being the big one right at the end there to convert on third and long. They get 7 yards to Javon Tracy, who picks up his 5th catch of the game, and they can continue the drive from midfield with the field flipped, trying to capitalize on this Ball State defense that might be starting to get a little tired.
They've got Ball State on their toes. The lone tailback is Mosey to the right hip of Gabbard. First play of the fourth quarter, fake give. Drilled as he throws and well off target. As Gabbard is starting to feel the heat, that time he let his motion get affected by the pressure up front generated by the nose tackle, Drew Hughes.
Well, that's always a tough route. Out route short to the far side of the field, or at least the long side of the field to the near side on the Ball State bench. And Cam Perry making himself available in front of the Cardinals reserves, but the throw sails high, second down.
So it will be second down and 10, only 3 seconds dribble off of the clock. So it's 14:57 to go in this final quarter of action. We're tied at 21 apiece. Second and 10 from the 50. It's a give up the middle. Mosey able to break the first tackle. He's into the secondary and has a first down after being dragged down to the Ball State 35. It's a 15-yard run and a big one as he rumbles, bumbles, and stumbles to push the chains forward.
Well, and as the rain begins to ramp up once again here in Schumann Stadium, the run game comes up big for the visiting team. The Red Hawks slicing and dicing through the Ball State defense, and Mosey, who had a pretty solid first half, picks up his first big run of the fourth.
So it'll be 1st and 10 at the Ball State 35. Gabbert and company set up on the far hash mark. As again, Mosey is the lone running back. He will get the give up the middle again. This time won't find the same success, as be a minimal pickup of about 2 after he is dragged down by Riley Tolsma. So it'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Red Hawks with just under 14 to go in the fourth quarter of a tied game at 21 apiece. It's taken quite the storybook to get here. With big plays for either side, only one team can walk away victorious. Shotgun look, hard count again, fools nobody. Gabbert fakes the give. He's going to want to go over the middle. He has a man, Javon Tracy, able to haul it in. He's brought down in between the hash marks, signals with finger guns for a first down. After a pickup of 20-plus, he is hauled down at the Ball State 17 by Jordan Coleman.
Well, and the finger guns, well, they're fitting there because that pass was a bullet out of the arm of Brett Gabbert. And you had Miles Norwood, who was trying to anticipate and maybe even get a shot at getting a hand on that football. He ended up on the turf frustrated as Miami cracked the red zone once again.
See what the Red Hawks can do with this golden opportunity in the red zone. Under center, a rare look here for Gabbert, who fools many with the play action and has a little flick. Good for a first down after the catch to Jack Coldiron. The redshirt senior just kind of continued to fade away and just sneak from that Ball State front. He was left unguarded, and number 89 rolled with the quarterback all the way through, who just gave a little pop pass forward, and now it will be goal to go for Miami.
Well, unlike a Ball State team that heavily relies on their tight end production in Tanner Koziel and Christian Abney, this is a Miami team that does not find the tight end very often in the passing game. Coldiron's first catch in 2 weeks and is only 8th on the season. It's a big one, though, to bring up 1st and goal.
He's typically in and run situations. It helped to sell the play action as the play clock is at 5. No one in the backfield. Gabbert wants a fade ball, had a man wide open and missed it. Left uncovered was Reggie Virgil, who had plenty of room to run in between a missed assignment of Jordan Coleman and Miles Norwood, who both just really caught a huge break.
Yeah, that had no business being an incomplete pass. Wide open in the end zone for Virgil, who was looking for his 2nd touchdown of the game. And the pass just was not placed very well by Gabbert. It was too far to the back shoulder, landed a foot out of bounds on the short side, the narrow side of the end zone. He'll want that one back as it brings up 2nd down, and more importantly, Ball State resets defensively.
Gabbert has looked much more comfortable when he has pass blocking help from the backfield. That's the look that the Red Hawks will show here, but first things are whistled dead with the timeout that was signaled for by Miami's head coach, Chuck Martin. So before Gabbert could get the snap off with Mosey to his left, things are signaled dead. Griffin, I think that the sentiment certainly holds true, even with this being an experienced quarterback. It's been night and day when Gabbert has time to throw versus when he's under duress.
Well, and I'd say that's true for about 99% of quarterbacks out there, but Gabbert has done well to react to pressure. That's a big thing to note as well. Ball State's been able to bring it at times, but they've only managed the 1 sack and 1 official quarterback hurry. There's been a few more that the defense has certainly had an impact on the play, but Gabbert has done well to move around the pocket. We've seen a guy who doesn't rush a whole lot, doesn't move out of the pocket and scramble a whole lot. He's had a couple of big runs today, up to 23 or rather 14 rushing yards. And it's been an impressive job by a quarterback who likes to sit in the pocket, but has shown that he can move around when it's necessary.
Gabbert entered the day with 39 carries for -5 rush yards. He's helped that total, of course, as in a game tied at 21s with 12:08 to go. The 2nd and goal play is a little out route, and what an open field tackle. One-on-one with a chance to score. Just dragging down the receiver was Willazon Yates. The The 5'11 freshman maybe just had the biggest defensive play of the day for Ball State.
Yeah, how about Will Yates? Because that's a swing pass to the left side. That's supposed to be a walk-in touchdown the way Ball State's set up. And Yates has to take an aggressive angle because if he runs toward the pylon, then all the forward momentum's going to be with Miami. It's a huge tackle at the 10 for a big loss and a tough third down.
So it's now 3rd and goal from the 10 after the one-on-one open field tackle was made by the freshman with Reggie Virgil. A tough ask from the shotgun. Dancing around in the pocket goes Gabbard. He rolls to his right, falls as he throws, back of the end zone, incomplete. Just barely unable to get a foot down was Javon Tracy, who was positive he had the touchdown after an absolutely miraculous effort from Brett Gabbard. He eluded a sack, fell as he threw, almost looked a little Mahomes. Superman cape was on. He went horizontal, threw while falling, and yet somehow, some way, just barely unable to toe tap in the back right corner of the end zone was Tracy. The field goal unit is on, and Ball State's defense, all things considered, has done their job. Miami, Ohio looks to regain their lead. The kick is up, and it is good. So the 27-yarder money, no surprise there. But Griffin, after entering the fourth quarter with a 1st and 10 from the 50, Miami drives all the way to the red zone, but that's where they stalled out. It's been a problem for either side tonight.
And that's Ball State stepping up, though. That's not Miami's offense fizzling out like we'd seen on the Ball State side of things in the first half. A couple of big plays from the Cardinals to force them into 3rd down and long, and then that throw from Gabbard really can't be much better on the run. Heck of a play by Tracy to try to get a toe down, and just a couple of inches too deep in the end zone, lands out of bounds. But the Redhawks take the lead back. Ball State, after they scored their touchdown they'd been looking for, they're going to have to potentially do it again down the stretch.
Had Tracy got a toe in, it would have been on your guys' screens at home for weeks on SportsCenter's Top 10. But that's how close midweek action can be. It erases ultimately 4 points off of the board for the Redhawks, who do still score 3. That's how much they lead it by. It's 24-21 in favor of the visitor. We'll have Ball State's offense with 11:13 to go in the 4th quarter next on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesweets.hamptoninn.com. At munciesweets.hamptoninn.com.
From the bell tower to your smartphone, anywhere in the world.
Never miss Ball State Sports with SportsLink Digital.
The beauty of midweek action is that it's typically in the forefront for viewers at home. Not much typically going on a Tuesday. This isn't your typical Tuesday, November the 5th. It's Election Day from Muncie, Indiana, with the Cardinals looking to put up a big-time upset bid at home, something they did in their last time out against a similarly built NIU team to this Miami one that Ball State currently trails 24-21 in the 4th quarter with 11:13 to go.
And a chance to grab the lead back. They haven't led since 10-7 early on in the second half, but an opportunity here for Ball State. Miami took the lead with 8 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the second quarter, and Ball State, after tying it once, has conceded the lead again. Haven't led since the second, looking to do so here.
Big opportunity to do such. The rain appears to slowly be dying yet again. It's coming in waves, but it works in favor of the home team here. A true home field advantage for Samanza and co., who will set up with the lightest rain we've seen to this point amidst a torrential downpour. Kicking off from right to left is McLaughlin. The Redhawks kick is in the air, and it is grabbed by Malcolm Gilly in the end zone, where he will take a knee and have things whistled dead. So Ball State will set up their offense at their own 25. And what's the biggest series of the game to this point?
You talked about the rain coming down and stopping. It looks like, at least from our vantage point, that it has completely stopped here with 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And what better time for Caden Samanza and his offense. 248 passing yards for the redshirt freshman. I told you before the game I'd love to see 275. He might get up toward 300 if things go the Cardinals' way.
Long way to go. Samanza sends Pickett in motion. It's a RPO as he goes to the slant to Koziel, who is wrapped down and incomplete. Getting a hand in, Rayon Strader. Sigh of relief for Miami fans. Not only is he healthy, but he's back to making big-time plays. It's yet another pass breakup for a guy who's up to 13 on the year.
Well, I think that ball was deflected on the defensive line. Koziel almost still managed to make that catch down at his knees, but the pass falls incomplete. Good job by Miami's defense to start off strong, and the Cardinals now needing to respond with Kelly back into the game.
2nd and 10, Kyle Kelly is in the shotgun. He'll take the QB keeper, unable to really find much of anything. And a Ball State team that's yet to have a 3 and out in this contest. We'll have to set up deep with a 3rd and 9 look here to try to keep such streak alive. Kelly goes right back to the sideline. And now Caden Samanza is going to be asked to make some magic on a 3rd and long situation on his own side of the field. No tailback for Samanza, but he does have a jumbo package. There's 2 tight ends out there, everyone huddled around the quarterback, who sends Pickett in motion. It's where he wanted to look first. Instead, he's brought down in the backfield. Immediate pressure and a big sack from Corey Suttle. Samanza loses about 6 yards on the sack. So it'll help Miami of Ohio when it comes to field position. But what a job from number 11 to race through the offensive line. The redshirt senior who transferred after playing 14 games for Iowa State in 2022 just made a huge defensive stand as the clock is now under 10 minutes and Miami will get the ball back with a 3-point lead. Cooey Jr. sends a kick that is clear over the 50. Takes a big-time Ball State hop before being fielded and immediately brought down on his own side of the field is Kevin Davis. So Miami, Ohio will set up shop at the 40 after their defense gets the stand they needed.
And on that 3rd down play, just straight through the O-line, breaking through for the sack, Corey Suttle making a play. Caden Samanza, all he could really do was channel his inner Bert the Turtle and go into duck and cover mode because there was just no time for him to scramble, no time to throw the ball away without getting hit with an intentional grounding call. And that's the defensive stop Miami's been searching for in the second half to really put a stamp on a Cardinal drive early on. And now up 3 with good field position can expand on their lead.
That was a dominant stop from a guy who stepped up in a big way tonight. Corey Suttle entered the game with half a sack. He has 2. Both of Miami's sacks tonight have come from Corey Suttle. So it will be the Red Hawks setting up on offense at their own 40, looking to add to a 24-21 lead. Maybe a bit of insurance here on the line with 9:39 to play in this fourth quarter of action. We'll be back with all the coverage next on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
So just how big is the Mammoth Pizza at Mancino's? How about a big 24-inch round pizza loaded with all of your favorite toppings? Made to order just for you when you call 287-1300. The perfect size for the big game, the next game, or any event that demands not only the best, but the biggest pizza you can order. And Mancino's is ready anytime. Call, wait 10 to 15 minutes, then head to Mancino's for pickup. Man, is it good. When a large pizza isn't enough, you need at least one Mammoth from Mancino's.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. My mouth is watering already, so I think we can skip the drum roll and get right to the main event. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Trust me. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Standards. High standards. That's what sets teams apart. It's also what sets us apart at Pregame Construction. We're not alone in holding our standards high. Ball State University is among those who do. That's why we're proud to sponsor the Ball State Athlete of the Week. High standards in everyday performance is everything in sport, as well as business. Join us in our pursuit of excellence. Join Pregame Construction for your next building project and in our support of Ball State University's Athlete of the Week.
From trivia night at Brothers and Tater Tots at Roots.
Never miss a Ball State game with SportsLink Digital.
You know, they say some swing states too close to call don't go anywhere. This game too close to call as it stands. 24-21, Miami of Ohio leads it with 9:39 to go on election night. The Redbird Rivalry has come out full swinging as here at the Shoe, Ball State trails on their home soil by 3 and will turn to their defense in need of a big-time stand with 9:39 to go in the fourth quarter of action. Out of the break, it will be 1st and 10. The Red Hawks have it at their own 40. 3 wide receivers are set up to the right side of the formation, 1 to the left. As Gabbert fakes a couple snaps with the hard count, nearly gets a jump but can't do such. And now it's a give to Mosey, who has really eaten up all the carries here. Just got a big one, but it looks like it'll come back with a holding call. Should it stand, Mosey will be brought down by Newsome at the Ball State 35. But there was laundry immediately on the turf. We'll have to see the call. Ball State holds their breath, hoping it's a holding, but everyone trots back toward the line of scrimmage, at least guessing as if it's such.
Holding. Offense. Number 71. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. First down.
It's exactly the case as the senior transfer John Young is credited with the holding penalty. He was one-on-one up the middle with Drew Hughes, the nose tackle, and just got a little bit too much of that shoulder, a little bit grabby. So a big-time 25-yard run turns into a 10-yard loss, backed up to their own 30. It will be a 1st and 20 here for Miami.
Well, and Young got put in a tough spot because Jados, the left tackle, pushed up to go upfield, and the left guard had to shift over and cover the edge, just got caught with a hold a little too long for the referees' liking.
Gabbert back under center. Last time he was here, it was a play action. He'll do the same. Airs it out. This ball has plenty underneath it, but just trying to draw a flag at the Ball State 15 is Virgil, as it actually had too much juice. It was over the head of Virgil, Snyder, and McLean, who are all downfield trying to chase it down. But Gabbert has put his arm talent on display for any scouts in attendance. Really at ease all night long. That was a throw from his own 30 comfortably to the 15 of the other side of the field that he made look effortless.
D.D. Snyder and Virgil kind of having a conversation on the way back, and maybe that's what it was. Gabbert just throwing the ball too much. And there was a little bit of contact there on the end of the play, trying to just have D.D. Snyder impede the progress, but not to the point of PI.
8:56 to play in the fourth. Miami leads it by 3. 2nd and 20 from their own 30. It's a quick hitter that is left too high, and Ball State nearly picks it off. We'll see a 3rd down and 20 after Gabbert just sailed a pass over his intended target's head.
And it would be a scary sight to see what this game would look like if Gabbert could throw the ball to chest height of his receivers on a consistent basis. Because as good as Gabbert's been today, he's 15 for 29. He's 52% from the completion percentage, and it's been overthrow after overthrow. It's one thing to overthrow a guy 40 yards down the field, but he can't miss high on a pass like that.
3rd down and 20, 8:53 to play. The momentum pendulum slowly swinging in the direction of the Cardinals. They need to stop to keep it as such. It's a delayed give up the middle to Mosey, who is met by a couple of Cardinals after a pickup of 9. Ball State's defense does its job. It will be 4th down and 11, and Miami will be forced to bring out their punting unit.
And Schumann Stadium coming out with a round of applause for that Ball State defensive stand. You get the early holding penalty, which certainly helps, but then 2 passes well defended on the defensive side by the secondary, and then they wrap up the draw play, a gain of 8, but nowhere near what the Red Hawks required from that 3rd and 20, and they'll punt to the Cardinals, who trail by 3.
I don't hate the play call. It keeps the clock moving and ultimately gave a playmaker an opportunity try to get something going on a situation where Miami really could do anything but turn it over. So it is now a punt that is sent down to the other end of the field where Malcolm Gilley is replaced by Keon Magwood, who just ran backwards a few yards. And what a punt that was. Ball State will have to set up inside their own 10, call it the 6-yard line.
What a punt indeed. It'll go as 50-plus in the air, and it didn't even need a bounce. Just an absolute bomb from the punter, Bevelheimer, and Magwood probably would have been better off letting it bounce once at the 7 and hoping it found its way into the end zone. He works backward a yard to the 6 before being wrestled down, and the Cardinals have some work to do down inside their own 10.
That nice open field tackle after the long punt, the cherry on top from Tony Coleman, was able to drag down Keon Magwood all the way at Ball State's own 6. So we'll see what kind of guts this offense has. We're down to 7:56 to play in the fourth quarter. Ball State trails at home 24-21 in their rivalry matchup against Miami, Ohio. We'll see the Cardinals offense take the field next on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
The Hampton Inn of Muncie is the official partner of Ball State Athletics. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. The Hampton Inn is one of Muncie's finest hotels. Come enjoy our free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and fresh Hampton beds waiting for you. Less than a mile away from Ball State campus. Don't forget to ask about our Ball State special. Search Hampton Inn of Muncie online at munciesuites.hamptonin.com. At munciesuites.hamptonin.com.
Ball State trails 24-21. Plenty of hope in the take. They'll set up shop at their own 6-yard line. However, Cardinals fans may have to shield their ears with this sideline report from Evan Stowell.
Yeah, AJ, a lot of tension down here on the sideline because the Cardinals have struggled in the fourth quarter all season. So far, they've given up 112 points in the fourth quarter this year, and they've only scored 54. They've yet to win a game in which they trailed at some point in the fourth quarter or were tied, and the only team they've outscored in the fourth quarter was the first game of the season against Mississippi State.
Good stuff, Evan. Ball State looks to put a halt to that troubling trend. So we'll see if there's some magic in the air. It's a great day to be an American. It's the clock just 2 minutes from striking 11 p.m. Eastern. 7:56 to go in the final quarter of action. Ball State will have to drive the distance of the field from their own 6, trailing by 3, to put a stamp on what would be a big-time mail-in for Mike New's squad.
Just going back to what Evan was talking about, I did the quick math there. That's 14 points on average given up in the fourth quarter. Only 3 conceded by the Cardinals here, but they got some work to do offensively.
Samanza takes from the shotgun. He'll go near side, and being pushed out of bounds with a grab is Justin Bowick. He's down to the 11 with a pickup of 5. That's a perfect call on 1st down and 1 to get halfway through the sticks.
And that's a tough throw to make by Samanza, but he does it with ease. Eli Blakey trying to cut through and undercut that out route, so the position of the pass has to be perfect, and Samanza finds his target.
Samanza again in the gun. It's 11 personnel with 3 receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Samanza goes to the right side. It's Pickett on a short little screen that's immediately blown up. He'll be lucky to pick up a yard, as there was a head count mismatch there. More red hats than black. It was 3-on-1. Not much the blocker could do. Pickett ultimately brought down by who else but Corey Suttle, who is now down on the turf and grabbing at his right wrist.
You know, I don't mind that play call, AJ, but I'd prefer it to the side of the field in this instance, the far side, with more open turf. You know, there's just not a whole lot of room for Pickett, and if he doesn't have the blocks, there's just nowhere to go.
Tougher ask for Samanza in that case to go to the open side to push the ball, but they Ultimately, opt to make it the easier throw, tougher yak. It doesn't pay off for the Cards. Good news for Redhawks fans. Subtle, tough as nails, is back out there. Bunch of pancakes up front. Samanza had time, but misses Koziel on an interesting blocking scheme that brings up 4th down and 4. So it's a 3 and out for the Cardinals. Will be forced to bring out a punting unit of their own, backed up deep in their territory. Miami winning the field position battle late, already on top by 3 points. Call it 24-21 with 6:36 to play in the contest.
And you look where the returner's lining up right on the Cardinal logo at midfield. Cooey's got to get this away from him and let that ball roll.
Big ask of the graduate student who stands at 5'11", 169. Cooey's going to have to send a boomer that way. He does just that, but it bounces before the 50 and ultimately goes out of bounds at the Ball State 45. So a net of 39 yards on the punt, one that Cooey would like to have back. It wasn't touched by anybody. And now with the wind picking up and inevitably the rain right back on the forecast, Miami of Ohio sets up at the Ball State 45, looking to put the nails in their coffin.
The wind heavily blowing in favor of Miami as well. Just something to note, AJ.
It is at their back as Gabbard, hard count again from the shotgun. Motioning across is Cold Iron from right to left. He now helps out as an extra blocker up front. 6 big bodies for Miami of Ohio who pick up a blitz, but Ball State was ready. They send pressure up the gut and stop an inside give to Mosey, who is brought down at the tail end of Charlie Cardinal's foot. Riley Tolsma, number 40, was able to drag him down. Call it a loss of about a quarter yard.
Yeah, Tolsma comes around the left edge, ends up behind the running back in Mosey, but just grabs him from behind and pulls him down. Unorthodox, sure, but a good tackle by the edge.
2 receivers to either side of the formation. Miami, Ohio has not been afraid to air it out. See how much they want to entrust Gabbard here. They'll have him give the ball up the middle, and a tackle from Newsome has him frustrated as he allowed the back to fall forward. Mosey turned a gain of 2 into a gain of 5 to 6, and that will make it a 3rd down and far more manageable 5 yards.
Yeah, that's superb work from Mosey because you have the tackler, Newsome, coming around and grabbing him by the ankle. He's able to keep his feet moving and not able enough to regain his balance, but grabs a few extra yards.
On 3rd and 5 from the Ball State 40, Miami shows an empty look. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Extra tight end in protection. Gabbard sends a receiver in motion across. Now it's 2 on either side. He wants to go to his right, does such. It's a catch right at the 1st down indicator. Miami will move the chains as Brett Gabbard was able to find the open man on the little slant concept over the middle. It's hauled in by Kevin Davis.
Miami brought motion left to right on that play. They were able to pick up on the fact that Ball State was running man coverage on that play. Then you look for the tight end because George Udo, the man tasked with making that tackle, making that coverage, he's a few yards on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So he's got ways to go. It's enough time to get the 1st down for Miami. Excellent recognition from the quarterback.
Redhawks in the driver's seat. Under 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play. It's a give up the middle on 1st and 10. That will make it another 1st down and 10 as Mosey continues to shed tacklers and bring them with him on his journey to pick up 11 and a signaled 1st down. It will be 1st and 10 for Miami from the Ball State 25, who are going full throttle, pedal to the metal, and can put this one away more than likely with a touchdown now with under 4 minutes to play in the 4th quarter.
They're going to have to bring the chains back here. The chains were spotted at the 24.5-yard line. The ball spotted at the 25, and the referee had signaled for them to move and then had to bring them back.
The chains moved inadvertently. Ball carrier did not attain the line to gain. It will be 2nd down.
Well, and the referee kind of just threw his chain gain under the bus there. I think that goes on the black and white uniforms there, in my opinion.
Well, regardless, it's interesting because Miami was certain they had almost a full extra yard, but instead, this is a more favorable situation. I think the Redhawks would prefer this 2nd and maybe an inch to take some more time off the clock and open up the playbook here on second and about as manageable as they come. They will keep Gabbert in the shotgun rather than under center. There's two receivers to either side of the formation. He's on the far hash on the right side of the field. Motions two more receivers in as Ball State stacks the box. It's going to be a battle of the trenches, won by Mosey and the Redhawks. Pickup of 2, good for the first down. And as mentioned, that call to move the chains back actually helps Miami. It draws another 40 seconds off the board.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. When you have a dynamic rusher like Mosey, you know over the course of 2 rushes, he's bound to pick up a half yard. And in that case, yeah, you're like, sure, great. Ball State brought him to second down, but knowing the high probability of 40 more seconds coming off the clock, tough for a Ball State team that only has 2 timeouts, as mentioned earlier.
It's time for this Cardinals defense to show what they're made of. They're trailing 24-21 on defense with 2:45 to play and running in the fourth quarter. It's 1st and 10 from the Ball State 23 as Miami knocks on the door of the red zone. No shock here. It's another give to Mosey, who is able to bounce it to the outside and does a good job to do such. His patient running style aids him to pick up a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8 from the Ball State 21.
And it'll only go down as a gain of 2 yards for Mosey, but that's a good recognition. The second effort to bounce it further outside after he ran into a blocker picks up a couple more, and that'll bring us, I think, down to the 2-minute timeout.
Barring any surprises, it'll do just that. Riley Tolsma made the final tackle beyond that left hash, between it and the numbers at the Mid-American Conference logo on the field. Miami, Ohio's offense brings things down to the 2-minute timeout, as more than likely Ball State is going to have to rely on their offense to pick up the framework here deep into a contest, trailing by 3 at the 2-minute timeout. Ball State's defense is on the ropes. It'll be a 2nd and 8 for Miami, who's looking to put this game away when we're back on Ball State SportsLink Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
For the best stories, access, and coverage of Ball State sports, follow SportsLink on social media platforms Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Search @BSU SportsLink.
American Pest Pros is the official pest control partner of Ball State Athletics. We protect your home or business and guarantee year-round protection from insects and pests. Ask about our Ball State special, available to all Cardinal fans. Our pest control program is the safest and most effective in the industry. Even if you tried a different service and it didn't work, we'll fix your problem, guaranteed, or your money back. Visit AmericanPestPros.com. That's AmericanPestPros.com. And don't forget to ask about our Ball State special.
Your home for live Ball State sports, streaming right in your timeline.
This is SportsLink Digital.
Ball State fans, who needs batteries? Your locally owned Battery Masters have batteries for cars, boats, golf carts, cell phones, watches, key fobs, pay-per-go toys for kids, and more. Bring your rechargeable batteries back to life for drills, shavers, dustbusters, and more. All Ball State fans receive a free battery checkup. Just mention Charlie Cardinal. Battery Masters is conveniently located on the corner of Walnut and Centennial, next to Mini Trista. Check us out online at batterymasters.com. Go Cards!
SportsLink is the official production partner of Ball State Athletics.
All the chirp you can handle.
Whether you're getting ready for the big game or getting ready for the workday, you always want to start with confidence. Cintas has the essential products and services to help businesses provide a clean, safe environment for their employees and customers. With routine restocking of essential cleaning, hygiene, and safety supplies, on-site cleaning, professional uniform laundering, and testing and inspection of fire equipment and systems. Give everyone the confidence they need to start their day. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
You're listening to Ball State Football, streaming live with SportsLink Digital.
Now back to the stadium.
Trailing 24-21 on their home turf with Miami, Ohio driving. They have shop set up for a 2nd down and 8 at Ball State's 21, already on top by 3 as aforementioned. A first down can get close to sealing this one. A touchdown would certainly do such. So we'll see how aggressive the play calling is here from offensive coordinator Pat Welsh, in a look where a pass could potentially stop the clock, but also could potentially ice the contest.
Yeah, well, you mentioned before the break, AJ, that Ball State might need to rely on their offense. They're going to need their defense to step up first. Ball State is backed up in their own territory, a yard outside of the red zone. And you're right, 2 timeouts here, so a first down wouldn't necessarily end it if it was converted on this down. But you got to feel like they need the stop in this set of downs here.
Fresh out of the 2-minute timeout. In the shotgun with a lone back to his left is Gabbert. He'll fake the give to that setback, go over the middle, and in highly contested waters that is incomplete, intended for Javon Tracy, but great coverage step for step from Miles Norwood.
Yeah, scary coverage for Miles Norwood there. Looked to be a little bit of a grab on the left hip, and it went uncalled. There was a hesitation from the back judge of whether or not to reach into his pocket. He elected not to throw the flag. Ball State gets a free timeout out of it and faces third down.
We'll see if that's a sign of things to come in terms of letting things play here deep into the contest. 1:56 to play. Miami leads it by 3. 3rd and 8 on Ball State's 21. They look to pick up the first down from the shotgun. Gabbert takes a 3-step drop, goes short side, had a man, but airmailed him by 15 yards. Reggie Virgil had a step on his comeback. He had beat Eric McLean, but Gabbert just misfired. And now all of a sudden, back-to-back incomplete passes have Ball State more than in business. There's still 1:52 on the clock, and now it will be up to Ziabon, the kicker, to drill a 38-yarder to extend this Miami lead to 6. Big stand from Ball State's defense, who just did their job. And now it's a big kick on the way with the wind to his back and the rain in his face. Number 31 drills it between the uprights. Ball State trails by 6 points with 1:48 to go. Griffin, back-to-back incompletions. They entrusted Gabbert, but the throw to Virgil, really the one that Miami may unfortunately for their fan base have to look back at if this goes the wrong direction.
Yeah, Gabbert needs to, once again, we've talked about it, that's probably his 6th or 7th overthrow on a shorter route, and it's just one of those situations where it's a muscle memory thing where you have to teach that hand to release the ball just a tad bit later, and it's so difficult to adjust mid-game, right? But you'd think as the 6th-year quarterback that he is, that he'd have that arm slot down, just hasn't had the touch on the football that Gabbert has expected of his self. Redhawks have to settle for 3, and Ball State, as we've seen them do a couple of times this season already, has the chance to drive down at the end of the game.
Does Ball State have another trick up their sleeve? Looking to move to 3-2 in Mid-American Conference play and 4-5 on the year. They'll turn to their offense. It's a 27-21 Miami of Ohio lead with 1:48 to go in the 4th quarter. Kickoff sent right to left. It'll go into the end zone and ultimately out of the back of it for a touchback. So Ball State's offense will trot out to their own 25 with nearly all hopes of bowl eligibility riding on their shoulders. See what the redshirt freshman's got. Caden Samanza, fresh off of a week removed from the biggest drive of his career, looks to orchestrate an even bigger one. Lone receiver on the near side is Bowick, 2 out wide on the left. Samanza back to pass from the shotgun. First throw of the drive, a bullet strikes its way into the arms of Pickett. Good for a first down. Check that. That's actually Justin Bowick. Regardless, it'll move the chains as Ball State pushes to their own 37 on a ball that couldn't have been placed more perfectly on the numbers. Now from the no huddle. Samanza off platform, little twitchy throw, and again, it is a Ball State first down, but wait, there's a flag from deep in the secondary. As it stands, it would be a big-time pickup. We'll see if it's a face mask on Malcolm Gilly. If it is, that really jumpstarts things. Gilly was the one who caught the screen. He's now on the sideline, writhing in pain.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 18. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Yeah, he went down very awkwardly after being dragged, and now you understand a little bit more of why, as it is a face mask called against Miami of Ohio. The clock will start on the snap. Ball State not going to use one of their 2 timeouts, so it's 1:31 to go. Samanza from the shotgun at the Miami, Ohio 34. Gets absolutely drilled as he delivers to Tanner Kozio. Pass incomplete as it hit the turf.
From up here, you can almost see Samanza's soul leave his body on that hit. Oh, my goodness. Just got completely decked, and we've seen him have to make a couple of quick throws on this drive. Delivered it in a spot where it looked like Tanner Kozio could have made the catch, but he got hit as he tried to reel it in as well. Kozio without a catch in this half. We'll see if he can get going.
Samanza tough as a dollar store steak, however. He's right back up and ready to go. 2nd and 10. Ball State trailing by 6. 1:26 to play. Samanza, plenty of time to pass. He's surveying his options, thinks about running with it. Ultimately is spun down for a loss of 1 as he tucked and ran, but didn't pick up anything, rather lost a yard. And now it'll be Ball State in no huddle, needing to get at least halfway, you'd think, to the chains for this to be a successful play. It's 3rd down and 10 from the Miami 34. Samanza feels the heat. He's brought down. Massive sack for Miami, Ohio, as Ball State is forced to use one of their final 2 timeouts, and disaster has struck as it will be a 4th and very long after the huge sack from Matt Salopek. It's his first of the season.
And that will be a drive killer for Ball State unless they're able to convert on 4th and long here. You have a 1st down play where you have the incompletion. That's okay, right? 2nd down and 10. It's 5 short, almost just hitch curls, and there's nothing there. Samanza ends up taking what was pretty close to a sack, if not officially a sack. Miami brings the pressure on 3rd down. They give Samanza and company no time to construct something, and now they got to go deep.
Salopek, who just got his first sack of the year, a 3-time All-MAC member, known as one of the best special teams players in the country. He's the first Red Hawk with 3 straight 100-tackle seasons since 2004. He's looking to be the first ever with 4 straight seasons. He's already over 75 on the year. Samanza's in the pony package looking for a miracle. It's 4th and 17 from the Miami 42, trailing by 6 in the 4th quarter. Samanza goes to the sticks. It's batted down at the line, and Miami, Ohio, is going to win it on the road. Big play off of the edge as Adam Trick got his left arm to it, and after Ball State appeared to be driving, they stalled out on the Miami side of the field and will fall to 3 and 6.
And for that play, it's just once again pressure. And it's almost a sense of conservative pressure from Miami to bring bodies, but make sure to drop into a deeper sense of coverage as well. And Samanza unable to get the heat of the throw on it he was looking for, fell short of the receiver by a couple of yards, and no chance in the end to convert 4th and long.
Brett Gabbert and company are into the victory formation in the rain on the road. Miami's defense, the pride, heart, soul, and joy of this team, has stepped up big time tonight with 3 total sacks and 7 tackles for loss. Ball State not ready to throw in the towel just yet. They call a timeout in spite of the kneel, as they hope for some sort of operational blunder. It would be a miracle at this point, as Miami appears they'll move to 5-4 on the campaign, 4-1 in conference play. Griffin, what's been going right for the Red Hawks?
Well, they've just been relentless, right? Even in this 4th quarter, not having the success on offense that they've been used to having over the course of this season, especially in Mid-American Conference play. They find a way to get it done at the end of the game regardless, and they'll walk out of here very, very happy, moving to 5-4 after an impressive continuation of their Mid-American Conference record.
This Miami team has a clear route to bowl eligibility next week, playing Kent State, a winless team in Mid-American Conference play. It's another successful operation with the kneel. They're one more of such away from winning on the road in this Redbird rivalry matchup. Ball State will pick up a 5th straight loss against the Red Hawks, a team that has had the Cardinals' number in recent memory. And on this election night, Miami of Ohio, just one snap away from putting themselves in the history books here behind Brett Gabbert and his 3 passing touchdowns. The clock is stopped at 15 seconds as officials are talking something over on this 3rd down and 12. But fans are heading to the concourse and clearing the bleachers. As Ball State
Miami played with 2 players with in-helmet communication devices. By rule, that's a 5-yard penalty. Ball State has elected to start the clock on the snap.
So an interesting penalty late that won't have any effect on the outcome of this one. Just pushes things to 3rd down and 17 as Miami had multiple players who were able to key into what the coaching staff was saying on the field. This should be the final snap of the contest. Brett Gabbert in victory formation takes the knee, and Miami of Ohio has come into Muncie, Indiana, and will waltz away with a victory. 27-21 your final, as you had a feeling this team could be a springboard for Ball State. Should it be a victory, the momentum would have all been in their corner. 4-5 on the year, 3-2 in Mid-American Conference play. Fortunately, partner for the Cardinals, the grass is always greener in hindsight and in the hypothetical world, because the reality is Ball State just picked up a 6th loss on the year.
They pick up a 6th loss on the year, and it went back and forth on the scoreboard. It never really felt like Ball State was in control of the game. Yes, they threw for 280 passing yards. Yes, they had a couple of solid games in both Samanza and Justin Bowick, who has a career day with 171 receiving yards. But the rushing game could never get going. They only had 1 touchdown offensively throughout the game, and in the end, just too many little mistakes. It wasn't necessarily a certain play, pinpoint 1 or 2 plays that gave it away. Just never really had the sharpness to compete and contend for the win. And for Miami on the other side, well, it wasn't pretty. They did enough in certain situations to get it done. They have a 100-yard rusher. They have a 100-yard receiver. Gabbert was not his best, but he was efficient enough. He made the big throws when it mattered, and it was enough for the Red Hawks to come into Muncie and win on the road.
They looked adversity in the eye after Ball State scored the first points of the game on a pick 6 thrown by Alec Bevelheimer, the punter, on a muffed snap. Miami just took momentum and never looked back. In spite of Brett Gabbert's 50% completion, you mentioned it, they played to a brand of football we really haven't seen Miami push out much this season. They pushed the ball downfield, wanted to look vertical, and ultimately stretched Ball State for all they can handle. That's all she wrote. Miami wins it 27-21 behind a career day from Reggie Virgil with 101 yards, all of which were picked up prior to the end of the second quarter. He didn't see a second half catch. Javon Tracy had 85 yards for a touchdown. Davis also hauled in a receiving touchdown. Mosey, 106 yards on the ground. There's a reason that Miami, Ohio won this game. They look like the more complete team from top to bottom.
Absolutely, and it goes to show what they've been able to accomplish all season, especially in the Mid-American Conference schedule. Looking at a team who's 4-1 is on the doorstep, arguably, of a conference championship berth. You mentioned the matchup against Kent State to firmly place themselves into bowl eligibility, but that would additionally put them at 5-1. And you look at the final 2 games from there for Miami, and if they can manage to snake both of those out, of course they would at that point be able to secure a spot, and it's certainly a couple of matchups where that's very doable. You host Northern Illinois, and then go to Bowling Green to end the season. And for the Red Hawks, this is a team that their expectations have now shifted, because this, for them, was a really turntable type game where if you do lose to your rivals in Ball State, then your season kind of flips and you're fighting for bowl eligibility like the Cardinals have been the last few weeks. Now you're in a situation where the expectation is to win out and play at Detroit at Ford Field at the end of the year.
You're exactly right, Griffin. And my main takeaway here is what Miami did in the trenches. 114 rushing yards compared to Ball State's 51 on 23 attempts. That's only 2.2 yards per carry for the Cardinals, a team that, yes, hasn't ran the ball as effectively as in years past with the likes of Carson Steele, but still 2.2 yards a carry. That's giving Samanza borderline no support. He threw a pair of interceptions himself, one on the first possession of the game, one the lone possession before halftime, which was more of a Hail Mary heave than anything. But the Ball State offense didn't look like they were working cohesively for the majority of this game. They pick up 8 points in the second half but are held scoreless in the fourth. Ball State has been outplayed consistently in the fourth quarter this season.
And they did a good job. We had heard from Evan Stowell early on in the fourth quarter, and Ball State hadn't done a good job of defending in the fourth quarter. They did that today, but they couldn't find the offensive spark they were looking for, which was really the story of the whole game. Hats off to individual players who made massive contributions, but you have guys like Tanner Koziel that really couldn't find anything in the second half. You mentioned the run game, no one really being able to establish themselves. And it's just the little things that they'll look back on. They'll analyze the film. Of course, the season isn't over. 3 games left. Of course, a long shot to make a bowl game at this point, but you're still playing for something until the end. And for Ball State, an opportunity to learn and grow and hopefully find some more consistency in the coming weeks as we wrap up 2024.
Well, a pivotal contest on a pivotal night in American history goes in favor of the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. The team moves to 5-3 on the year and 2-2 in MACtion. As for Ball State, this midweek affair has them dropping to 3-6 on the year. The Cardinals 2-3 in Mid-American Conference play. Miami wins it 27-21 here at Schumann Stadium. I've been AJ Swiatek. So for Evan Stowell, Isaiah Rosner, and Griffin Leonard, I'm saying so long. Please get home safe. Thank you for spending your Tuesday evening here with us on Ball State Sports Link Digital Radio, presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.
This has been a production of Sports Link Digital Radio.